We're all owned by the Syndicate, body and soul. Or should I just say body?
Hello, filthy movie lovers, something weirdos, and anti-criterion bros, to the 18th episode of the Sin Syndicate, the only podcast that has seen the sadistic practices of the Leather Boys and has taken part in the pot party orgy of perversion. My name is Gentry Austin, writer and researcher, and I'm here with my co-host, Casey Scott. And this week, we are once again joined by Canadian degenerate and friend of the Syndicate, Alex DiSanto. We are going to complete our personal rankings of the top 10 Lost and in Limbo sexploitation films that we started last episode. We already covered 10 through 6, and today we are going to complete our lists with numbers 5 through number 1. And if we have some time, I thought maybe we would do some honorable mentions at the end.
A little closer, that's it. Oh.
Closer. How's this?
Oh, baby, right there.
Right there. All right. More.
No, stop. Oh, I can't take it.
Stop.
Oh, honey, you're killing me. Oh, yes, that's it.
So a quick recap of the rules. A trailer for the film must exist. We are limiting ourselves to one film per director, and 2 substitutions will be allowed. And last but not least, no Andy Milligan. We are taking those off the table.
Not because we don't love him, just because it goes without saying.
Yes, exactly. And also, I wanted to point out, if it wasn't clear in our last episode, most of the trailers that we're talking about are available in the Twisted Sex trailer compilation that was put out by Something Weird Video. And if you follow our Instagram account closely, you may have seen a comment from Something Weird boss lady, Lisa Petrucci, who said that there is something in the works involving these Twisted Sex video masters. I kind of wanted to kick it to you guys. What do you think this is, or what do you want this to be?
I know what I want it to be. I don't know what I would think it is, because all I'm thinking about is what I want it to be.
All right, well, go ahead.
Well, there's 20 Twisted Sex volumes. I imagine it's probably going to be one disc release of, like, let's just say 2 to 3 hours worth, kind of like some of the other trailer compilations. I can't see a full Twisted Sex series coming back.
Yeah.
All full volumes. I really hope, because, like, look, do we really need to see all the Metzger trailers? There's a lot of them that can just go back as extras on the corresponding films. Mm-hmm. I'm really hoping that they're going to prioritize the trailers for otherwise lost films, because that is the greatest novelty of the Twisted Sex series, and there is like at least 2 hours worth of lost content on these releases, on this whole series anyway. It seems like it would be kind of pointless to just do like a bunch of Friedman trailers when there already like has been a bunch of those other guys. There's so much great content on here that we cannot see otherwise because it's missing. Why not like kind of do like the Lost Twisted Sex show in a way, and really just prioritize those lost ones, because where else are we going to see them, and what greater opportunity to combine this great little potpourri of glimpses of things we cannot otherwise see. That just makes the most sense to me. So
that's what you want.
Yeah.
And I'm going to tell you what we're going to get. We're going to get straight transfers of the video masters of the Twisted Sex compilations, I'm sure, because we've already seen it happen. The Hey There, It's Intermission Time masters have already been reissued. I don't like when they do that on Blu-ray, but that's another story. Like, I think Blu-ray is supposed to be like high definition, and if you're going to release an SVHS master on Blu-ray, I think that's not what the format's for. So, like, it's kind of like using and people are doing it now with 4K too. I think it cheapens the format, if I'm going to be completely honest. I would love if they retransferred these trailers and prioritize the lost ones, but the problem is we don't know what state those prints are in anymore. We know about film negatives, dying out and going bad because of bad storage and things like that. So I don't even know if these trailers even exist anymore on film.
It would definitely be nice to at least whichever ones still remain at the very least and supplement others. Like if they're missing, they might be gone with some of them, and all we have is video masters. But just knowing that, there's been other things with the video masters. That's really why I am just going for, at the very, very, very least, can we prioritize the content we can't see anywhere else?
Yeah. If you're going to use the video masters, edit out the stuff that is already available. Yeah, if they're going to use it would be good if they were if they're going to use the tape masters, which I know they're 99% sure they're going to, edit out the stuff that we've seen all over the place, edit out the stuff that's accessible, include the things that we can't see. So it really is just like watching a marathon of movies that we're otherwise not going to be able to see in any way. So it's just like one exciting discovery after another for people who have never seen the Twisted Sex series, because otherwise it's like, okay, we know the Doris Wishman trailers are great, we know the Metzger trailers are great, we know like the Sarno trailers are great, we know the Mahon trailers are okay. But it's like, let's focus on the stuff that we're never going to see ever. This is the only evidence, the only film evidence, the only motion picture evidence of this that is still around.
Yeah.
So being able to watch that as a marathon and not having to wade through stuff that I've seen a lot would be great. And also, for another thing on our list that I maybe forgot to mention, Gentry, is that we're specifically focused on U.S.-made sexploitation. On those Twisted Sex trailers, there are tons of imports that Brenner brought over, that all these other distributors brought over that aren't. You can't see them here, and you also can't see them in their country of origin. I was very lucky to download a copy of Stephania in its original Greek with English subtitles, because that just came out on DVD in Greece a couple of years ago. Other than that, there are so much. The cats you still can't see. It's available in Swedish only with no English subtitles. So the trailer is the only place where you can see footage from that movie with some kind of English translation. Club Super 8 really needs to fix that. Just saying. But there's just so much stuff. Even in addition to the American stuff that is just, you can't see it. And I would really love to be able to marathon it all.
Before we start, maybe we'll take stock of where we're at here. Myself and Casey have not used any substitutions yet. Alex has used one. So with that, maybe we will dive right in. I'm going to be a little strategic here. I'm sorry, Casey, because you maybe shouldn't have told us that you are going chronologically.
That's going to bite me in the ass, right?
It might bite you in the ass right now.
I'm sure it will.
And I am going to go with a film from 1971 called A Weekend with Strangers. Casey's biting his tongue.
You're probably thinking about all the things you've read and all the things you've heard about encounter groups. But just relax and let it all happen.
The touch of a face, a scream from the soul.
You're probably thinking about all the things you've read and all the things you've heard about encounter groups. But just relax and let it all happen.
This is a Alan Savage film with Jennifer Wells and Laura Cannon. Those are the two big actresses. This is an interesting. Go ahead.
And also of Reanimator fame, David Gale.
Yes.
Yeah. Right.
This is an odd one. It's on my list for obvious reasons. I mean, it's a lost Jennifer Wells film, so we need that. But also Laura Cannon. I mean, I know Laura Cannon mostly from hardcore stuff. And, Jennifer Wells also did hardcore later. As far as I know, this is not hardcore, right, Casey?
No, not that I can tell. It's soft.
Yeah. And I asked because this is a film that deals with quote unquote encounter groups, which was also the subject of a hardcore film from, is it like right around the same time that touched me?
71 was the encounter group year. Yeah,
it was. There's so many of them.
Yeah.
Do you know why? What was there? Something in the news?
Something in the zeitgeist.
Yeah.
It was the sexual revolution. It was trying to get in touch with your feelings and try to be more open sexually.
It was exactly. It was hippie. It was free love. It was like, let's get into nature and just like let go of the establishment's morals and things like that. Why can't we be these like kind of a pagan mindset?
Yeah,
in a way.
Yeah, it's interesting. The trailer for this also features a couple black actors, which is kind of uncommon. So I don't really know who they are. Do you guys have any idea?
No. I have a poster. I don't have a press book, and the poster mentions Jennifer Wells, and I think. Well, actually, let me look.
And one of those black actors is already on the one sheet, which, hate to say it, could be risky. Possibly.
You mean for
yes?
At least earlier on,
Jennifer Wells and David Gale are the only credits on there. But yeah, like you can see, it's just Jennifer Wells, David Gale, and yes, the black guy on the cover. Very exploitation.
Yeah, what's he holding in his hand?
Nunchucks, I believe. Yeah, isn't there there's a martial arts sequence in the movie? You can see it in the trailer.
Yeah, I had that in my notes as well. I'm like, is there like some blaxploitation kung fu stuff in this as well? Which
it was the year of Shaft, and the year of Sweetbacks, so the timing is good.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I haven't seen a press book either. I do have a very light synopsis based on some research. It's about a woman with a shady past who helps run an encounter clinic aiming to give erotic meaning and emotional devotion to her clientele's lives. But one of her former lovers arrives and demands she help him with his current extortion racket, deciding to blackmail her with her shady past if she doesn't. So she pretty much comes to the conclusion that the only way to put an end to this mess is to kill him.
Yeah, as our resident adult film expert, Casey, Laura Cannon wasn't in that many non-hardcore films, as far as I know, right?
That's true. I mean, at that time, they were both being made. So she's in...
Yeah.
I mean, Fleshpot is barely hardcore. There's just a little tiny bit of hardcore in that, which feels accidental, to be honest. She's in Altar of Lust, which also feels accidentally hardcore with a little tiny itty bit of that. So Harry Reams, actually, it's interesting. Harry Reams, his autobiography has a lot of pseudonyms for people, and I forget the pseudonym he gave her in his book, but he described her as like a classic Jewish American princess.
Yeah, I've heard
and,
that too,
and I was like, no, that's really flattering. But she's terrific, and you get to see more of like she was a Tisch graduate. She went to NYU for like theater arts, so she was an actress, and so you get to the reason why. Spoiler alert, this was in my top 5, so we'll see what my alternate is, was because of her. Like Jennifer Wells, I can take her leave. I'm not a Jennifer Wells person as much as you are, but Laura Cannon is the reason why I'm dying to see this, is because I want to see more opportunities for her to act, and that's what you see in this trailer. And I remember it was after I saw Fleshpot, I saw the Twisted Sex compilation. I was like, oh my God, she made another movie. Because at that point, no one had put the two together, that Laura Cannon had done all these other films. She has another name. She has uses other names and stuff, but no one had put the two together. It's like, oh, she made more movies than just Fleshpot. And then more came out, like she was in Dark Dreams and things like that. I think she was in actually Crack Up for Michael Findlay at Dystropix and some Kurt Films things. So like she was very very regularly working in the New York biz. I feel like Fleshpot was one of her last movies, actually, chronologically, because I think she kind of stopped around 72, 73. She wasn't around that long.
Yeah, she wasn't. But I mean, I feel like her credits are probably longer than what we can see, even, that are on like IMDb or,
Right.
I feel like she's one of those actresses that has a lot more credits that just aren't listed.
Probably.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, she's why I want to see it. And Alan and Arthur Savage. Well, when we do an episode on submission, I'll go into more detail about them because I've been trying for years to talk to them and have run into so many roadblocks. Arthur died in 2016, but I was calling him as early as like 2004, and he went when he was still living in New York. Alan still lives in New York. Their children keep answering the phone and denying that their parents made movies. Because they were involved with financing Broadway plays and they were involved with theaters. He said, no, my dad made plays, but he wasn't involved with movies. And I'm like, okay, well, this conversation's over. I need to call back in a couple of weeks and hope that you don't pick up. And the kids keep picking up. So it's one of those situations where like I'll never get through to Arthur or Alan, and can't get through to Arthur now. But and also the crew is like a ropes gallery of incredible people. Ron Sullivan was a production manager. Arthur D. Marks was a cinematographer, and he worked with Ron Sullivan and Graham Place on so much stuff. They were like the Three Musketeers on tons of really good stuff for Distrapix. And then the music is by Manny Duran, who was Jennifer Wells' husband at the time. There is so much amazing. There's so many amazing footprints on this movie. And when I found out that that Distrapix are going to be working with Don Walters, who was another connective tissue to Sullivan and Place and Marks, and I was like, okay, do they have anything for Weekend with Strangers? Because like I immediately connected it to like Shelley before I realized, oh wait, Shelley films and Chancellor films are not the same. Yeah, but yeah, nothing has ever surfaced of this, which is immensely frustrating.
Yeah, and it's weird to me because I mean, 71, there, even in this early period of the 70s, a lot of those films are available. I wonder why this one is lost.
I think it's a Chancellor thing.
I will say it did also have a somewhat decent release in the UK as Weekend Swingers.
Yeah.
And not just those little like cinema clubs and things like that. It was cut down a little bit, but anyone of you know of any archives in the UK?
Yeah, I mean,
send some emails.
If any one of these lost films that we're covering pops up, I feel like this one has, I don't know, a higher likelihood than some of the others. That's just me guessing, but
maybe. Well, yeah, because it's like a color Chancellor film.
Yeah.
But I mean, there are other Chancellor films that aren't. But that's good to know that it had a release in the UK, because Chancellor films, after a certain point, I mean, Chancellor films went out of business around this time. So this is one of their last movies, I believe. So it might not have had the distribution that it had in the US that we would have thought it might have had. And I think, isn't this one of the earlier, I think it's one of the earlier examples of Jennifer Wells actually using that name on movies. Because she was Liza Duran on like Career Bed and a lot of her other softcore stuff. I feel like this is an early,
yes.
Yeah, I feel like that's an early Jennifer Wells where she's rebranding herself also as a blonde when she was not a blonde when she started out. So in that way, if you're a Jennifer Wells head, which they are legion, I get it. This is kind of the beginning of Jennifer Wells as Jennifer Wells, and then she eventually just became that well-renowned figure in Sarno stuff, and then later in the hardcore stuff.
Yeah, you're right. She is a brunette in some of those Henry Pichard movies. I think all of them.
Yeah, Jennifer. This feels like a rebrand for her, honestly. Yeah. So it's like it's if in that way, it also has that extra historical significance. It's like, okay, this is the beginning. Like this is the marker for Jennifer Wells to be this Zoftig blonde who's like a little older than everybody else.
Yeah. Yep. All right. Well, who's next?
Little old me, I guess.
Yeah.
I have another one that. Don't worry, it's not as off the mark as Devil's Bedroom, but it's a bit more sleaze drama than out and out sexploitation. I'll call it sleaze drama. It is 1966's The Street Is My Beat by Irv Berwick.
You say yes and it gets around. Say no and they don't date you anymore.
Due to the nature of this film, we're extremely limited in the selection of scenes that might be shown before this unsuspecting audience. This is the story of a tainted generation. The street is my beat. This is the case history of Della, young, innocent, unspoiled.
How old are you?
18.
Prostitution.
She moves from high school to the street in one demoralizing leap. Don't look for Hollywood glamour in this film. You won't find it. Here is a story that offers a view of the street, a view you have never, ever seen before.
This is an arrest home for down-and-out streetwalkers.
We bring you this most shocking story without bias or prejudice. We ask that you view it with an open mind.
Hi.
Because it's true, brutal and shocking.
Hi, sweetie. You got some money?
Money?
Yeah, money, cash, you know?
Yeah, I got money.
Here you see the street as it actually is, completely uncensored, not a scene removed.
Stay away from me.
The title, The Street is My Beat, recommended for adults, many of whom will insist that their teenagers see it.
Yes, which looks, production-wise, I love his film, The Seven Commandments. That's one of my absolute favorites of his.
Great movie.
Which is another absolutely fantastic, I like to call, again, like a kind of sleaze drama.
Mm-hmm.
Great movie.
Like if it had been made in like 67 by someone else, you could see there was a million opportunities to put flesh, let's just say, into a film like Seven Commandments or Street is My Beat. This one was supposed to actually be produced the same year as Seven Commandments. Irv Berwick was starting a new production company, and he had about 3 films that he wanted to produce. However, only Seven Commandments actually made it. Street is My Beat kind of got stuck in development hell in its own way. And to the point that actually, funny enough, in 1962, a novelization of the film came out from Monarch Books. It did not get properly financed and produced until late 1964, early 1965. And and it's odd that it's a bit lost because it came out through Emerson Film at the end of the day, and quite a few of Emerson's titles have surfaced. It concerns a young woman who is unhappy with her home life, and so then she marries a man who turns out to be a procurer. One day after going off with a John, for some reason, he notifies the police to arrest her. And as the trailer shows, it looks like it has some great jailhouse, women's jail scenes in it. It looks very great, like again, just like Seven Commandments, wonderful, sleazy noir. Unfortunately, she gets out of prison, but she can't get a job because of her record. And so she tragically goes back to her husband, who trains her as a high-priced call girl. And after a couple of years, in most of these dramas about women who become high-priced call girls, she slowly begins to become replaced by younger, more luscious pulchritude, I'll say. And so she.
I was like, what word are you looking for?
I'm thinking of very sleazy, pimpy verbiage.
Oh Lord.
So she starts to go
pimpy verbiage.
Yeah. I'm like, I can only imagine that she's called merchandise once or twice in this damn thing. So she mentally deteriorates, begins drinking, and becomes an alcoholic streetwalker, which is also a great scene in the trailer of her out of her mind drunk, she's trying to pick up a trick who's not going for him. And in the midst of one of her stupors, she accidentally steps into the path of a car and gets hit. And however, after being rushed to the hospital, her parents find out about all this and they vow to step in and help her begin a new life. Another small reason why I want to see this is because Texas icon Annabelle Weinick,
common law wife,
my queen. I love her so much.
She plays the slightly abusive mom in this. Of course, she's the best.
Similar to Strange Compulsion, doesn't she do the same thing with Strange Compulsion too?
Yes, exactly. So that's also another. That's also definitely another reason why I really want to see this film, because I just love Annabelle, especially when she plays shrieking degenerates, floozies, any of this stuff anything where she has some bite to her, or she has to go insane. Right. She just goes all out. And yeah, no, it just looks like, again, another, it looks exactly like Seven Commandments, a great little sharp, dirty little skeezy noir.
Does a one sheet exist for this? Because I'm looking at the image that's on Letterboxd. And it looks like it's the image from the novelization cover, but maybe that is the one-sheet cover as well.
No, I know that publishing company well. That's just one of their regular looks. A lot of their books look the exact same. If you're looking at the right one, I'd have to take a look myself. I don't think I've ever seen a one-sheet for this.
The main image on IMDb is a screenshot from the trailer.
Yeah, so it makes me think that.
Yeah, if you're talking about the painted image of the woman on the couch, looking slightly distraught, that is from the novelization.
That is okay. That's what
and that's and that's a very whoever painted that painted a lot of Monarch books. Other ones, that's a very Monarch books look to it.
Do you have the novelization, Alex?
I have not yet, but it doesn't go for too much. But it's just one of those things I keep on forgetting to go out there and grab. Right. No, it's not as, especially compared to Olympic photo readers and things like that. It only goes for like $20, 30 or something like that. So I definitely will grab it at some point.
Post it on your alt account.
Oh, Paperback Grindhouse?
Yeah.
Oh, my Bookstagram account? Oh, yeah. Oh, my other. I'm everywhere. I'm everywhere on the internet. Yeah, at some point. Although I have so many other novelizations to post there anyway, Gentry. Goddamn. Okay. It'll be a while. It'll be a while before that gets on there. But yeah, no, it just looks like a great little.
Yeah, it's a good pick.
Easy drama flick.
Yeah.
Well, have you ever reached out to Ben Solovey about this?
I haven't.
Ben is the guy who found all the Emerson Films stuff. He found Manners, the Hands of Fate. He found Atomic Brain, and those were camera negative originals. So I'm just thinking in terms of Emerson Films, he'd be who I would go to look for an Emerson Films title.
I'll have to see. It hasn't been on my radar too much just yet. I only became a big fan of Seven Commandments within this year, and then found out about this one.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Seven Commandments is weird later. Noir DVD set, which I think I love all but one of those.
Yeah, exactly. I think I just put it on like one night, not knowing what I was gonna really get besides this like thing of like a preacher who has a sinful past. I'm like, oh wait, this is fantastic.
It's like his best movie. Like all that is left to really go against is like Hitchhike to Hell and Monster Piedras Blancas, I believe.
Which is not
a Strange Compulsion, right? I think that's Herb Berwick. But Seventh Commandment, I think is his best. I think it's terrific.
Yeah, exactly. And this looks so close to it. I can't not imagine this being on the money.
Right.
Based on how much I've read, I really condensed this plot synopsis down. It looks like a good little tight flick.
Yeah, I agree. Good pick. Yeah, that wasn't on my radar, so
it was on my short list.
Okay.
But I dropped it. Okay, so my number 5 might be a controversial choice because the director of this is not known for doing really very good films. It is from 1969, and it is called The Daisy Chain by Donald A. Davis, which I have the press book for.
Yes.
What would the pen look like? It's got to be something that shows somehow that we're all kind of linked together.
That's it, baby. A big, beautiful chain. Big, blooming daisy chain.
Hollywood Cinema Associates presents The Daisy Chain. The up and away story of the most way-out airline stewardesses that ever took to the skyways.
Hey, have you seen my charge?
Hey, I'm your charge.
I know, baby. But this trip, Billy's my charge. You've never seen a guy so frightened of flying in your life.
Well, that makes pretty good common sense to me.
Starring Marsha Jordan as Gussie and Linda Logan as Carol. 2 worldly wise stews who form a very exclusive club, admitting only those special passengers who can turn an overnight layover in Podunk into a memorable and rewarding experience. Privileged members recognize each other by a small pin.
If I wanted to join, how could I get a pin?
Well, it's like those wings you wear, baby. You have to earn them.
So Donald A. Davis, not known for the best movies. I think, Gentry, you and I have talked about Acapulco Uncensored, which is kind of terrible, but he's interesting because he was kind of the most instrumental in developing the stardom of Marsha Jordan.
Yeah.
Because he did like Her Odd Tastes, Marsha the Erotic Housewife, The Mothers, The Golden Box. So this is his big missing Marsha Jordan movie, which is The Daisy Chain. It also came out the same year as The Stewardesses, but looks way better than that film. And it's a film about stewardesses in the sky who were like a little emblem or whatever. The synopsis. There's a synopsis, and I'll do the synopsis from the press book. Okay. The Daisy Chain Club is an exclusive society for high-flying stewardesses and their free-spending executive passengers. Members recognize each other by their chain-shaped lapel pins, a system which assures good times for members during dull layovers. Actually filmed on giant jetliners, the film gives the first inside look at what really takes place in the cockpit while the autopilot flies the plane. At the climax of the film, the mother of a young stewardess goes searching for her daughter. Through the window of her daughter's friend's home, she sees a wild party in session. Horrified at the activity, she calls the police. By the time they return to the house, her daughter has joined the now wilder assemblage. The couples are completely nude, suggestively intertwined around an ornate fountain in the center of the lavish living room, which the bizarre scene is illuminated by demonically whirling colored lights. It is a powerful motion picture about today, the generation gap, the new freedoms, and the new attitudes about sex and censorship. 73 minutes.
All right. As you were explaining, I could kind of envision what this is like for Don Davis. This is like his psychedelic picture.
Mm-hmm.
Totally.
Yes. Well, also in this fountain with these thing, that's the centerpiece of it. And this press book is great because it also says, contact your distributor regarding PIN and membership card. And there's actually a membership card here. It says it certifies that blank is a life member in good standing and is entitled to all rights and privileges in the Daisy Chain Club. So you could have gotten a PIN and a membership card.
Add that to the list of sexploitation merchandise we'll probably never find, but would kill to own. Wow.
I'm just like, and the tagline is a secret club of high-flying stews and high-rolling businessmen. So stewardesses were called stews, apparently.
I also do have good news on this one.
Oh, good. Give me some good news.
A print surfaced a year or two ago. It's in safe hands.
Okay, safe hands is not available for me to see. So let's
no. Hey,
move to the next step, please.
Hey, I'm still saying it's on the next step now. It is. It's now here. So there's
good
potentiality.
Okay, so actually, this reminds me. So all of the Don Davis titles that Vinegar Syndrome put out on DVD are now out of print. So ideally, we would have Her Odd Tastes, Marsha the Erotic Housewife, and those reissued on Blu-ray, and add Daisy Chain, and maybe maybe Golden Box or Mothers.
Why not all of them?
Put out a little put a Don Davis, Marsha Jordan thing, because I think he, other than Steve Apostoloff, I think even more than Steve Apostoloff, I think Don Davis was really like Mr. Marsha Jordan. He really made her like a superstar. Also stars. So there are three main stewardesses in this is Marsha Jordan, Linda O'Brien, our favorite from Acapulco Uncensored, who is stacked to hell. Like seriously, insane. Russ Meyer territory. She never made a Russ Meyer movie somehow. And then Samantha Scott, who has the most uncomfortable implants of any 60s sexploitation starlet, I think, who is currently serving life in prison for trying to murder her husband or successfully murdering her husband. I think she successfully murdered him.
She murdered one, then tried to murder the
another.
Next.
That's what it was. Yes, because Dave Friedman tells that really good story on the Headmistress commentary about it. And she's terrible, so I don't need to see her in this. But it also had Ingrid Hansen from Gabriella, Foreman Shane, my beloved, is in it. Sanford Mitchell. Yeah, it's just kind of crazy. We have Stewardesses, which was this major hit and which is pretty easy to get a hold of and see, which is really god-awful. I can't stand the Stewardesses. But this, shocking that Don Davis looks like he actually made a good movie that is better than what we have available in terms of sexy stewardesses. I'm very intrigued. And I had to add this because I love Marsha Jordan. See, you have Jennifer Wells. I have Marsha Jordan. Marsha Jordan is my girl.
Well, also with Don Davis, he's so known for not delivering. Just the fact that it mentions that he does a psychedelic scene is like, oh, thank God. Oh,
yeah,
something.
I'm into it.
Oh, there's something with a fountain. Oh, that's different. Oh, there's psychedelic lights.
And then with naked bodies circled around the fountain. Oh, you gotta be kidding.
Thank God, compared to something like Marsha the Erotic Housewife.
And again, going by the trailer and the press book, this is once again peak Foreman Shane. Like hot to trot Foreman Shane.
Does he have glasses on?
No, he does not.
No glasses. Okay.
That's him right there.
Oh yeah. Oh
handsome.
boy, he does look boyish in that.
Yeah, that's my man. So yeah, I'm glad to hear there's a print. Let's get the ball rolling and get that restored, please.
And as we restore it and put it in the box set, we should get that recreation of the
chain.
The chain, and
see that's very Severin. That's
exactly. That's what I was thinking. Is like
yes,
he just wants the Foreman Shane collection. That's all. He just wants the Foreman.
I'd be fine with that. Yeah, give me a Foreman Shane collection. Well, up to a certain year. Let's stop around 70.
I think it's easier to package it as a Marsha collection.
Very much so. Yeah. But he happens to be in all of them. Like he worked regularly with her and all this. Even the Apostle of stuff. He's in all the Apostle of stuff.
It's like the Umberto Lenzi and Carol Baker collection. We can call it like the Don Davis and Marsha Jordan collection.
Marsha Jordan. I think so.
Yeah.
I like that idea. I mean, I feel like in those movies, like, honestly, I didn't care for her odd taste or Marsha the Erotic Housewife when I saw them do the Something Weird because they just looked okay. Actually, seeing those nice and cleaned up, relatively speaking, on the Vinegar Syndrome was actually made me like them a little more. I think seeing those nice and spiffied up might actually make me like Don Davis's stuff more. I don't think it'll say like Acapulco Uncensored or like For Single Swingers Only, which is terrible. But the Marsha Jordan stuff, I'd like to see her in high def for sure.
Yeah, some of these are slightly more painful if they're not crisp as well. Like especially some of the like lower ones when you're also fighting when the movie's not the most incredible, and you're also fighting to see what's happening.
Right, or it's just like smudgy and the color is just disgusting, and it's like it makes it more difficult to sit through. That's why I tend to go for the black and whites over color, just because
exactly
like look nice and crisp.
Exactly, like Marsha just looks better in the highest resolution.
Right.
Don Davis,
I love that.
Is such a strange character to me because his movies always involve plane. Usually they involve planes or flying somewhere. If you've seen the Golden Box, they fly tons of.
I'm wondering about his World War II background. It might be a Mahon thing.
He had some connection with flight and airplanes.
I think he might have. Yeah. Don Davis is a big blind spot for a lot of researchers, myself included. But I do have a very good connection with someone who knew him and was actually living with him near the end of his life, who's Kelly Nichols. Kelly Nichols was very close to him in the last couple of years of his life. She's told me stories about going to like weekly poker games with Dave Friedman, Don Davis, Harry Novak, like all the people from like from the AFAA would do these meetings, and she would just show up. She'd be like the girl who would be there. And like, nothing sexual, nothing like that. They're all total gentlemen. I was just there and had fun, just like, smoking cigars and having drinks with the boys and telling these crazy stories.
Wasn't Marsha also a member of the AFAA? Like, not the poker games, but like, wasn't she also a member? I believe she was there.
I don't know. She might have been that I'm not sure. I have to look at that list.
I feel
like it was mostly people who were involved with production. Like Ann Perry definitely was. Maria Tobolina was. I think Manny Condi's wife was too. Maria Condi.
Because I think I might have also seen Maria Elise making an appearance at one as well.
Maria Elise probably was. Well, Maria Elise would have been also because Dan Katie was.
Yeah,
and she was married to Dan Katie at the time. Mm-hmm. I'm not sure what Marsha Jordan's connection would have been because, it's going to sound terribly sexist, but this is the way it is. Looking at this, the women who were involved with AFAA were typically wives of men who were in the AFAA. So like Ann Perry was married to a producer, and then she married Ryan, and then she became Ann Perry Ryan, and Ryan was a lawyer for the AFAA. So like even her joining the AFA is not her as an actress. It was her as the wife of a producer. And so Maria Elise and Daniel Katie, it's that is kind of like the sexism of that business. Like I can't think of any woman who would have been in that association solo, except even Shelley Wilson, I don't think was a member of it.
No, I've never seen her.
Yeah,
None of
she's
the New
only one I can
Yorkers
think
really.
of.
I'm trying to think of any New
No,
Yorkers
Radley
who were.
was, Ava
Yeah.
Layton was, Howard Winters was. I mean, there were definitely New Yorkers that were, but in terms of women, yeah, that's a whole. It was a boys' club for sure. For sure.
Kelly was already
I would
playing her
love
own
to know if Marsha
iconic
Jordan was in
poker
it.
games. Kelly was already playing her own iconic poker games anyway. She didn't have to fly over
with her
to play
cigars
poker.
and
exactly. In her bag meant, give me more money, you son of a bitch.
Exactly. Well, you really need to see that doc Queen of the Deuce because it really talks a lot about her relationships with all these men in the business. It's very, very good doc.
I do need to see that. I do, yeah. I've been hearing funny good stories about her since ages.
Well, you mentioned Ann Perry. She was also in a Don Davis, the Dial a Degenerate.
Which if we ever,
if we ever do a Lost films that have no trailer, I think that would be on my list.
I have the press book, but it didn't make my short list because it's hardcore. Yeah, so I cut it off the list. But she does not do hardcore in it. Yeah. Ann Perry did not do hardcore, so she is kind of like I think she's like a phone operator or. She's like a phone operator in that.
Well, that makes sense because Sandy Dempsey is in it, so I'm sure like Sandy Dempsey does all the hardcore and Perry doesn't.
Probably because it was 72. Yeah.
Because I've seen quite a few where Sandy Dempsey is usually like the girl that steps in to do all the hardcore and the other girls.
Well, she was also in Golden Box for Don Davis too. That was one of her first with Marsha Jordan.
Yeah, she might just be operating the phone lines in the movie.
I think that's what it is.
It's about customer service, so I think she's connecting everyone to their
right. And it's her maiden name, which is Ann Myers, right? Before she became Ann Perry, right? That whole situation, I have so much to say about Ann Perry because I was this close to interviewing her, and she had very bad Alzheimer's and passed away kind of quickly. Yeah, but her son's very helpful. Apparently, she made a whole sequel to Sweet Savage on film, never edited it, and he has the entire movie unedited. This hardcore film from the mid to late 80s.
Whoa.
With stars. I forget who stars in it, but yeah, like he has this stuff. And I was like, okay, Vinegar Syndrome did New York Ninja. I think they need to do the hardcore version of New York Ninja, which is edit this together and dub it, I guess. You know?
Or acquire it. Where's it sitting in his house? Hopefully not his garage.
I'm not sure because apparently
how children sometimes are not the best at story.
Yes, I do. Tim Ormond, thank you. Yes, right.
Well, that was an accident. Well, that was a bit of an accident. Well, that was a little unforeseen.
That was also ego. Like he had major deals thrown at him that he turned down for years. Yeah, so I'm not going to give him any kind of grace there, unfortunately.
You could have at least grabbed the negative for exotic ones as you were fleeing.
Please, the best of them, right? Exactly.
Yeah, you could have at least grabbed the picture. I'll take the audio from video. Like, just give me that colorful picture.
Right, exactly.
We're going into the fours, and my fourth is Playpen Girls.
The motion picture made with the mature male in muss and corruption. You'll thrill to the most bizarre pot party orgy of perversion ever filmed. You'll see the sadistic practices of the Leather Boys.
With maybe my favorite trailer of all the trailers on the Twisted Sex. I don't know why. I just love the music in this trailer. Trailer itself is short and sweet and kind of leaves you wanting more. I don't know much about this other than it looks like a New York shot, sexploitation from 1967. I don't even know
Isn't
who
it
produced.
Leo Todd and Phil Todaro again?
Yes.
Oh,
it
yeah.
is a Leo
Yeah.
Todd production. Yes.
Yeah,
I did see that
and
at the
so
beginning.
they did like Teach Me How to Do It and a bunch of other things. They were around for a little while.
Yeah.
I think they owned theaters, did they not? I don't remember.
Phil, I feel like Phil had some sort of thing going with Shelley Wilson. I heard.
Yeah, I think
He was
so.
doing
And it's
some things
Victor
with
Bertini,
her.
who's the other Victor, and Victor Petrashevich made it. Yeah.
Yeah.
You mean the Victor Bertini who's also in the Sarno films, or a different or the other? Which Victor?
Yes, who's in the Sarno films, and then he later did Robin's Nest, which was a hardcore film. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't. Yeah, not expected man like Victor Bertini, at least the man who shows up in bed How to Make It, to have men doing things with men.
Yeah, the trailer,
the trailer really excited me.
Despite being called Playpen Girls, yeah, there's quite a few like men in embrace and
like fully nude men. Yeah, they pan up and embrace and things like that. I love the fact what sucks is that I've seen the press book. It does not give a lot of information. It's about the world's most exciting city, it's referred to as the playpen of the world. The story of a girl who comes to the playpen of the world. Its thrill palaces, its sin-ridden streets. She visits a topless clubs, goes to a pot party orgy, and seeks out the leather boys for new thrills. And there's, of course, the trailer having the iconic cast of characters. Did you write down what they are?
I have it. I do. I have it.
Yeah.
The girl, the boy, the roommate, the misfits, the leather boy, the topless waitress, the pot party goers, the go-go girls, and the stripper. So it's your sexploitation.
The press book also lists the odd ones.
Oh, that's not
well.
on. Yeah, that's not in the trailer.
We know who they are.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
right.
So yeah, Playpen Girls. I don't know.
It looks fantastic too. Just even in the oddly like verite way that it's shot with all the zoom ins and outs. It has this like odd, slight documentary feel to the proceedings with some of the camera work and stuff. It's only like 60 to 63 minutes, and it looks busy. It looks like a potpourri of all the wonderful sinful madness that we hope to see in these. I like the I was about to say the only thing it's missing is a shower scene. There is a shower scene in the trailer. There is new showering.
There is.
It literally has everything practically the sexploitation genre had to offer.
Bingo card.
The only thing I'm hoping it has that I didn't see is like some old madam type character. Because there's people wearing sunglasses inside, I believe. There's like butch women looking like they're smoking pot. Like there's Janet Banzett once again.
Yes,
again. Probably has nothing. So the poster says the motion picture for men only, positively no women admitted. And then it also says, see the pot party orgy, motorcycle thrill seekers, sadistic practices of the leather boys, topless waitresses really dishing it out, nightlife in the city men call their playpen. Which just sounds intriguing. The trailer didn't get me that intrigued except for the gay stuff. I was like, what? Really? Okay.
What is the song? Alex, do you know the song at the beginning? That dun, 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 dun. You hear it all the time.
No, it's used in so much stuff.
I've Shazammed it. I don't know if I've Shazammed that. I've tried with some. I've
Shazammed all of those songs and nothing ever comes up.
Okay, so here's my trick as well. Like, I don't know what algorithm or like YouTube uses to like crawl through all these copyrights, but sometimes when you upload stuff, even if you upload it just like unlisted, they'll catch stuff and they'll like give it a strike, like a copyright strike, and you can see what it is.
Yeah, I've been thinking about doing that because you're right. They do have a slightly different one that I've completely forgotten about whenever I'm doing this.
Is in a lot of this song, I think, is in several Chancellor ones, and there's other stuff that's like in Chancellor ones as well. And I think the issue is like there are definitely music libraries that we know of, like KPM, Selected Sound, Chappelle, those kind of things. What's the other one? Valentino Major is another one that was pretty big. But I feel like these are part of some library that maybe is either underreported or under researched. Like even library music people, I've gone to like experts in the library field who will like research all this shit. They have never heard this stuff. They have no idea what it is. And I'm just like, and then I go to like, well, are they acetates from like maybe they're acetates from like a record company that with like industry connections where they're just like, well, we like recorded this with some band or something. and it just didn't go anywhere. Like the mysteries of library music in these movies is incredibly frustrating.
Yeah.
But that's that song, and then the stuff in all the Chancellor, like The Weekend with Strangers, has a song that you've heard for 4 or 5 years in trailers, is in that trailer, and it's just like, I want to know what this song is. It's incredibly frustrating
because it's stuck in my head. It gets stuck in my head. If you're talking about the final one where it's on her face in the flames, that whatever that tune is just kills me.
Yeah, there's just too much good stuff that we don't know what it is, and I think it's because like there's some library that we aren't aware of that might have been New York based, because I only ever hear it in New York trailers and films.
Yeah,
exactly.
Alex, what do you got for number 4?
That fucking movie.
It's 2 down for you.
I knew I was so scared. I knew it when you had that line in your intro. I was like,
yeah, yes.
We all 3 had Weekend with Strangers on our list.
No, he had Playpen.
No.
Oh, you had Playpen Girls.
I had Playpen Girls. I'm obsessed with Playpen, with this trailer for Playpen Girls. I love it totally so goddamn much.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, absolutely. No, I love this trailer for Playpen Girls. I'm going to use my other substitution.
All right.
And very quickly pivot over to one that we figured out Jerry Denby was more so affiliated with directing, even though Sandy Johnson has the credit on IMDb, to the titular film of the compilation series,
yes.
The Twisted Sex.
Yeah.
Because I was kind of hoping somebody,
Because despite the fact that it's a decent chunk of it is footage from a film that they bought, it's not like Violated Love, where they only just stuck in one little added scene and stuff. This was significantly re-edited and had tons of new footage put into it.
What you have heard is a scene from The Twisted Sex. It is a film intended only for mature adults. Taken from the files of eminent psychiatrists, The Twisted Sex is a study of 6 people caught up in a web of sexual emotions. You'll meet Billy, a $100 a night call girl who lived in a world of clients and dollar signs. She didn't care what was done to her body, as long as she was paid the price. She wasn't aware of how high a price she would have to pay until she fell into the hate-filled arms of a rapist. You'll meet Henry, a man who lives in a world of pleasure and pain, and spends his time searching for women to share this world with him. You'll see what happens when he meets 2 women who have their own ideas of how much pleasure pain can bring. Taken from the actual files of a practicing psychiatrist, the case history of Henry follows the classic pattern of the sexual masochist.
So it's kind of fitting to swap out Playpen Girls with this, because it's also just an orgy of absolute unending sexploitational madness. The press book, the trailer is absolutely fantastic, but I will read through some of. God, this press book has a lot of great quotes in it. I'm trying to pick out some good ones. The press book doesn't have any actual synopsis. It is like the twisted sex controls the vast, uncontrollable urges of sexual needs. It's a completely authentic motion picture about psychosexual paths, erotic urges, and uncontrollable lusts. Taken from the files of eminent psychiatrists, The Twisted Sex reveals 6 individuals as they struggle with their suppressed and frustrated sexual needs and desires. And 2 of those grimier ones that you see in the trailer is Henry, who is bound in a basement and being teased by 2 women. A man compelled to act out his weird desires. He finds pleasure and pain in the form of 2 beautiful women, becoming the victim of their strange ecstasies. And the most titular and creepy sequence, the guy who attacks women wearing a clown mask, a ghastly clown mask, Carlos, his mother thought it funny when he caught him spying on his naked sisters. Yet this supposed innocent behavior turned into the most frightening of all psychotic illnesses, the schizophrenic. Descending into the dark hell of mental torment, Carlos changes from a peeping Tom into a fetisher, and finally into a beast who delights in committing unspeakable acts on beautiful women. So it's some very creepy moments, and there's a bunch of other like fantastic things. Girls liking girls, older women having a thing for much younger men, buying their affections and things like that. I have not done enough research to figure. I have not been able to figure out what the original film that they bought was, where it came from, or anything like that. The other one was an Argentinian flick. I don't even think it's fully available. That transfer looks like there's a reel missing in that thing. But yeah, no, again, another one that's missing because of Chancellor. An interesting thing about this campaign is that every single mat lists this film as called the Twisted Sex Set. And the press book urges theater goers, depending on their censorship needs, either omit the word sex to use the word set or omit the word set instead. However, I have seen examples where they just didn't do that. It just listed as the Twisted Sex Set. Right. And again, and the mats have a wonderful, very grimy underground film type look to them as well. And things like that. But yeah, no, this looks like another just fantastic display of all sorts of wondrous abnormality. So this was shot by C. Davis Smith, remembers being the one who shot this, and he remembers Jerry Denby because he mentions in one commentary that Denby had a thing for some of the more darker fetishy components in these movies. So he's the one who was primarily directing all of these. It's a Jode production. All of these
Johnson Denby
sequences. And yeah,
I want to know who that is on the cover.
I know. The only cast member that I can identify is Jack Lowe, who's the crazy artist in Beautiful, the Bloody, and the Bear.
Yeah, there's zero credits for this. There's no runtime. I don't know how long this is. Anything. Oh no, wait, 79 minutes. It's 79 minutes. Oh, that's kind of long for a film like this.
That is kind of long. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah. We'd have to see, but it looks
this
fun.
Was my alternate.
I like C. Davis Smith's camera work, and it's again, it looks like it's a lot better than what they did with Violated Love. Because the only good scene in Violated Love is the added scene, is the dance of the Velvet Whip sequence in that. But this looks like a fully butchered type of, more of a Wishman-esque, let me just hack this up and turn to something different. Although in their case, something much better than what she ever did. Sorry, Doris.
Yeah, I wonder if it's like all MOS, I wonder if there's any sync sound or at all. 66.
Well, probably not, because...
Yeah. I don't think so, because if they had to dub the other stuff, then they probably would have wanted to dub the rest of it too.
Yeah,
exactly.
So it looked like it was one production.
And wasn't C. Davis Smith shooting things with a handheld Aeroflex? Those could be quiet, but not the most quiet in the world. Like you would have wanted to blend that and stuff. So his shooting style, at least in this time, right around
dubbed, all the Dora stuff is dubbed. Yeah.
I think this is the era where he was just like so fast. It didn't have sync sound because, of course, he shot later films that like did and stuff, but these were the like quick and dirty ones. Let me shoot it with the widest angle lens, like just let me do this fast.
Yeah.
So it's probably again like Sexploiters and all those other ones. That's just maybe a narrator.
Yeah.
Well, this one. So this was my alternate for Justine. This was my other Sandy Johnson pick, and the AFI catalog has a synopsis of it where it says that 6 case histories taken from the files of eminent psychiatrists reveal the sexual frustrations of the modern age. And then it describes each of the 6 stories. So I think it's easier if they just build it as an anthology, then it's easier for them to have this footage from this other movie and then just shoot their own shit and just intersperse it. So it's 6 little vignettes in this movie. It's not all one narrative. Which is why I was kind of like, well, I'd love to see that because I like those kind of case histories, those kind of fake documentaries, and because I'm a big Mondo person, so it's similar to like the Mondo mode of filmmaking.
Yep. Well, thank you, Alex, for picking the Twisted Sex. I was hoping somebody did. Casey, what you got?
I have. Okay, so continuing in 1969, I have chosen House of the Red Dragon.
The most lavish sex spectacular since Cleopatra is coming to this theater soon. The breathtakingly brilliant color colossal, The House of the Red Dragon. Largest cast ever assembled in a sex exploitation film. Beautifully mounted with $1 million sets, gorgeous costumes, violent action, exciting lovemaking, and an original music score orchestrated to make The House of the Red Dragon one of the most important films of this or any other year. Laid in Chinatown, San Francisco during the 1890 Tong Wars, where the blood-red meat of the wildcat flowed through the veins of the deadly hatchet men, murdering all who stood in their shadow to protect their mysterious empire of sing-song girls, slave labor, opium dens, and political blackmail.
Directed by Don Greer, brother of Hollywood actress Jane Greer, who is a film noir icon. And he was heavily involved with this company called Unit 10 Productions, which was a producer named Charles H. Leonard. And he also did hardcore with Charles H. Leonard. He did this terrible Bad Bad Gang, which is like a biker thing, and then Shot on Location, which is a terrible like behind the scenes of porn. But yeah, this trailer is crazy. Obviously, I have a
very long
for it. It's very long. It's very in the style of like, I feel like they're trying to go for like the Friedman Novak period piece, extravagant production kind of thing. And it's crazy because they don't really have any stars in this. Like I don't recognize any of the cast except for Mason Bachman, who was in Sandra, the Making of a Woman, and Dandy, and Notorious Cleopatra, and some other things. I think he was in Psycho Lover too.
Yeah.
But the synopsis from the AFI catalog, I will read. In the 1890s, Susie, an 18-year-old Chinese stowaway, leaves her hiding place on a ship after it docks in San Francisco, only to find herself in the middle of the Tong Wars and a witness of the murder of a runaway love slave, in quotes. She makes her escape and finds work at the Mandarin Club, owned by her distant uncle Wong, who heads the Red Dragon Tong. As Wong busies himself in an attempt to seduce his niece, Police Commissioner Gordon, Batman relation, contacts Chang, leader of the rival Black Scorpion Tong, for help in averting warfare. Gordon assigns Special Agent Galen Lord to destroy the Red Dragons. When Uncle Wong discovers that his niece was a witness to the Dockside murder, he sends her to his den of pleasure to be trained as a sing-song girl. Her teacher, Ling Chow, falls in love with her as he trains her in the art of lovemaking. Meanwhile, Chang's young bride, Heather, turns for sexual satisfaction to his number one son, which is Charlie Chan. The enraged father throws Heather into his opium den, where she is bound and drugged into gratifying the sexual desires of his customers. Bloody warfare erupts between the rival Tongs, and Galen Lord is captured by the Red Dragons. Chang's servant Shu, also an agent, approaches the rival den as a customer in order to free Lord. But Heather, now apparently in the House of the Red Dragon, that even the AFI catalog doesn't follow this, recognizes him and betrays him to Wong, who has them both tortured. As the Red Dragons celebrate the Chinese New Year, the Black Scorpions attack their house, emerging from a paper dragon. I would love to see that. I think it's in the trailer. In the fighting, both Chang and Wong are killed, and Galen Lord leads police in taking control of the House of the Red Dragon. Susie soon receives genuine immigration papers, and with her teacher, plans to reopen the House of Pleasure. So the prostitution continues at the end of the movie. It's shot by a guy named Louis Jennings, who started in silent films for Max Sennett, where he was a cinematographer for Max Sennett comedies. And then he worked in the studio era at RKO and WB. He did a lot of TV in the 50s on Westerns. He shot Private Arrangement for My Tam, and then he also shot Switcheroo for Don Greer, which that's another lost movie. And then the assistant director was Gerald Cormier, who I know from Hardcore, where he worked with Eric Jeffrey Himes and Anthony Spinelli, but most people know him now for Barn of the Naked Dead. And also he did a really weird shot on video thing called Frankie and His Pals, what Severin put out on their Intervision label, which is very strange. And that's kind of it. I mean, the trailer is insane. I have the poster, but it is
it's a gorgeous poster.
It makes me nervous to open it every time I open it because it's like, I don't want it to fall apart. But it says it's in glorious color. The most lavish skin spectacle of all time. The hatchet men of the bloody Tong held a claw-like hold on an empire of slave girls, opium dens, and the vice.
The one thing about Richard Jennings is that he could have shot more My Tam films. We just do not know because they're not available.
Right.
Because I have seen a photo of the slate for Suburban Girls Club, and he's on the slate.
Jennings.
Yes.
Oh, that's him then, yeah.
So
interesting.
Might be more of him for My Tam as well.
Well, and then what if Don Greer shot My Tam stuff and we just don't know? It's possible. And was Charles H. Leonard connected to My Tam? We just don't know.
The only person I've found connected to My Tam is the eventual producer of Angel Above, Devil Below, Mary Turner, who was their booker for the longest time. Is she around?
I believe so. Last while, I don't know. I checked years ago when I was still working on trying to figure out that movie because I wanted the original softcore version. I think the hardcore version's not very good.
Yeah, no, because she was like right-hand woman. Exhibitors affectionately called her Miss My Tam throughout her time.
Well, I like that
of working. Yeah. She was well known at that time.
Well, last time I checked, he might have died. I checked a couple of years ago. Don Greer was still alive a couple of years ago. He was like 98, 99 years old, like ancient. I'm sure he's gone now, but it's just interesting to always note the connections between Hollywood and sexploitation because they're right next to each other. There are so many connections behind the scenes of Hollywood people working in sexploitation because it was like, well, yeah, it's being shot down the street or sometimes on the same lot in some situations. So, and this looks nice and extravagant, really good set design, some good costume design, but as is the case with a lot of these very extravagant productions, it's hit or miss. This could be terrible. It could be another Diamond Stud or Fabulous Bastard from Chicago, where it's all about the production and it's just boring because, yeah, sure, it looks great, but there's nothing else going on here. I would love it to be like a Secret Sex Lives of Romeo and Juliet, which I think is kind of one of the peak of those films. But with our luck, it might be like a Diamond Stud, which is terrible.
Well, Don Greer also did Alice in Acid Land, which is
terrific.
A release,
but
it's a release. It's a release from the video.
Oh, that's right, because that's all that's around. I mean, that was a rough transfer anyway.
Yeah.
The DVD from Image was rough, so that was a rough transfer, probably from like one of only. It might have been the only print left. Who knows?
Yeah, which doesn't really bode well for this one. Then,
well, the weird thing is, a lot of those Unit 10 productions are around. Like a lot of the Don Greer stuff is around, but there's stuff that's obviously cheaper than that's still around. But it's interesting that this is like a very large scale production. I think. Well, something that I've noticed is if you really wanted like major. I've noticed that a lot of the films that got distribution in the Pussycat Theater chain, they're still around because that means more prints were being made. The Pussycat chain was like a nationwide chain. If it didn't get picked up by the Pussycat chain, then it's really hit or miss whether you're going to be able to get this movie or not. So I feel like Don Greer stuff might not have played the Pussycat chain. I need to research this more, which is strange because when you think of his Hollywood connections, you would think that he'd be able to like pull Vince Miranda's leg and be like, can you get my shit in the Pussycat Theater? But I don't know. This has always been really tantalizing. I was so happy when a trailer popped up because it took like a later volume of the Twisted Sex series for that to emerge. Because for years I just had the poster and it finally came out on this compilation. I was like, oh my God, I can finally see footage from this thing. That's great.
Actually, I have bad news about Don. I knew something about Don.
Did he just
Thanks
die?
to Sean Langrick. Sean Langrick has spoken to his son. He died in 2016.
Yeah, I thought it was recent. Okay.
And also, iconically enough, he is, according to what Sean said, he illustrated most, if not all, the posters for his films, including Alice in Acidland. And unfortunately, we know that. Unfortunately, according to his son, he threw out all the artwork.
Oh man!
So no original House of the Red Dragon artwork either.
Don tossed out the artwork a long time ago, thinking, "What am I going to do with this?" Yeah.
Well, see that, and that's we keep going back to this. These people never thought these things would ever come back out again, and no one would ever want to ask them about them. So yeah,
which sucks because Alice in Acidland, even the press book cover is a beautiful image of her coming out with this pair of lips and things like that. Like it is a gorgeous campaign for such a somewhat flat but entertaining movie. It is an incredible campaign.
Not the most visually appealing movie. No, I mean even with the black and white is gross, and then the color is not that great either. But it's Sherry Jackson, who I'm obsessed with. Yeah,
it's got a fun song you in that, like the soft lip song as well, and things. There's enough happening.
It's very late period for what feels, but it feels very late period for what is essentially like a drug scare film. It's very it's very of Don Greer's era, where it's kind of like, oh, drugs. Well, this is it might look fun and you might be able to get naked with people, but it's really not great. And it's just like
it's gonna send you to a psych ward. Yeah, at the end, it's
exactly. Yeah. And it's not like I don't know, a lot of those movies in that era, like Psych Out and The Trip and stuff, like they're actually not as progressive or youth forward as one would think they would be, because they're made by these old people.
Yeah, and then you get the Rotsler films, which are very like
I
don't want to say pro, but they're not as
they're not anti.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. Yeah, they're not judgmental. They're more like, well, yeah, this is the now. Like the title says, like it is. This is
like it is. Yeah,
this is like it is. Right. Exactly.
House of the Red Dragon. Yeah, this was on my short list because of just the fact that there are so many. There's a few Asian characters, and you don't see that very often. I have no idea who the Susie Wong is. Obviously, she's playing off the the name of the character from the Nancy Kwan movie. The World of Susie Wong.
And the trailer also reminds me, there's a really good pre-code movie called The Hatchet Man with Edward G. Robinson, which is obviously problematic because all the cast are white people playing in yellowface, playing Chinese people, but it's shockingly graphic, and it discusses the Tong Wars in San Francisco, and it has one of the most violent endings of any pre-code movie I've ever seen, and it still packs a punch and involves a hatchet. And I have a big soft spot for the Hatchet Man, so I'm kind of like, well, this seems like an updating of that, but with actual Asian people, which I'm excited about.
Oh yeah, I need to see that. Yeah, it's a Wellman.
The Hatchet Man is really good.
Loretta Young. Yeah, I need to see that.
Loretta Young as a Chinese woman. But no, Hatchet Man is like it's a very underrated pre-code movie. I don't think enough people talk about it. I really like it.
All right, are we on our threes now?
Oh wow, gosh. Okay.
Already.
All right, my number 3 is Teach Me How to Do It.
This is the love school where 1 and 1 made 2, and 2 or more, an orgy. How teacher puts her knowledge to work and turns out a class of pleasure girls.
Where sin was an education and an affair was an A on the report card. I love that part. So this is another lots of kind of hairy-backed guys doing softcore groping. Lots of the classic 60s like black lace panties. And again, Janet Banzette shows up. What's the production history on this one? There we go.
It's Leo Todd again. So you just picked two Leo Todd movies in your top 5.
And I didn't even know it. Yeah.
No. The press book says advanced class for love dropouts. I can read you the synopsis if you want me to read you the synopsis. A young married couple looking for new excitement decide to open a love school. They enroll a number of male and females, incorrect grammar, and then classes start. They're investigated by 2 police officers who in turn become quite pleased with what they encounter, and all parties find the teacher knows best. Runtime 69 minutes. Nice.
Perfect.
Director of photography Mort Schumann, who did Hot Erotic Dreams. Did he not? That's the one with Ann Linden in the bookstore, right?
Yep, that's the bookstore. So
that's Mort Schumann. Yeah. So the director of that photographed this. Mike Mignola did Tuck Me In, which I've raved about before. Which
I haven't seen
better.
That yet. I need to see
that. That is actually story heavy. This is not. So this is obviously going to be very different. But as we talked about with Two Girls from a Madman, as you can see, the star of that is Ingrid. She's the blonde in the orgy sequence in Two Girls from a Madman.
Yeah.
Introducing Ingrid, Sweden's newest sex port.
Sexport, that's good actually.
Oh, you know what? You know what's funny?
Yeah, actually,
I didn't even notice. I didn't notice this. Book these other Leo Todd box office attractions now: the Playpen Girls, the Sex Cycle, and Vapors.
Vapors, yeah.
Yeah,
so
they did distribute
handled by
Vapors.
Leo Todd. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's why I think that's how it got into the cameo because of Phil Tadara's
because of the Leo
relationship with Shelley Wilson, and Milligan had a lot of bad things to say about him. Claims he stole the film away from him. I'll just say that. Claims he stole the film away.
I really wanted to interview.
Well, Ingrid Larson, that really didn't take off, did it? She didn't become the new sex board, did she?
She's not good in Two Girls from a Madman, so I'm not surprised. Not memorable in that.
But this looks fun. With not
on like one apartment.
Yeah, not a whole lot of plot, but just a lot of people just like groping and rolling around and doing fun stuff.
It has that really good shot in the trailer of Ingrid and Janet, and by the way, it says Janet Banzer in the press book. Yeah, them riding one guy on a couch, and it's a very Sarno shot, actually. Yeah, Mort Schumann doing good photography work on this.
Yeah, I like these Leo trailers.
Leo Todd.
I think they did a good job.
I wish more was known about them. I've researched them briefly, but I feel like they also did Gathering of Evil, which there's no trailer of, and I would love to see that as well.
Also the Abrams, wasn't that Abrams and Parisi? Gathering of Evil?
That was they might have distributed that at Charles
Abrams and Phil Parisi?
Oh, it was Abrams.
That's another company I'm interested in. That's another interesting company, Abrams and Parisi, as well.
Abrams and Parisi. Charles Abrams did Cargo of Love.
Yeah.
And a bunch of other ones. Yeah, Charles Abrams.
Yeah, because I did some research on Gathering of Evil because I got a bunch of stills. It looks like a good little sleazy crime film. Not really sexploitation, but a little crime film.
Mm-hmm.
Does anybody have the poster for this one? Teach Me How to Do It?
Teach Me How to Do It? No, I have the press book, and that's more than enough.
Yeah. It'll
look the same as this. This says this is the one sheet. So
yeah, it's another one of those classic sexploitation one sheets.
Mm-hmm.
Black and white splash of red.
Yep.
Yeah.
One color.
Right. And the exclamation point for Teach Me How to Do It. I think it's interesting that Mike Mignola, who came from a theatrical background, a Broadway background, made this his first movie. This like what looks like it's plotless, and then his second movie was the one that was about Broadway and theater. I think that's interesting.
I should note that this was actually one of my swaps. I had Madame Olga's massage parlor in this slot. So for the record, I forgot to mention that. That is
so you have to swap.
Okay, that was my swap. Yep. All right. Alex, you're next.
Now, going with a film that had an introducing credit for someone who well deserved it, Sheila Britt. I am going with 1962's The Seducers.
Well, look who's here.
This woman, so beautiful, so inviting.
This man, his mind strangely twisted, sinful, lustful. Nothing could divert their immoral purpose. Hidden perversions create the vicious minds of the seducers.
Let's go home. And play house.
Before you let me go, you want to prove that all those locker room stories are true. Joe, come on, Joe. Let's go to hell together.
Which again, it's not overly sexploitational, but it was on the market.
I didn't know
somewhat.
that was her introduction. Yeah.
Yeah,
pretty early.
Yeah, actually, a few. It's not the press book, but I have seen it in a bunch of different ads, and also the front. I have a photo I need to send it to you guys. A great photo of the front when it went down the street after its Rialto showing to the Liberty. Also has a snipe on the front that says "Introducing Sheila Britt" to passerbys as well. This is probably this is the most one that looks the most expensive out of all of the ones that I have picked. Well, which would make sense. It was made for approximately $65,000 with like 30 investors involved. So who knows if they actually got their money back.
Well, the director was Canadian. Is that right?
The director was was documentary filmmaker Graham Ferguson, who later on was also a bit of an inventor. He co-invented the IMAX film format.
Really?
As well, and so he's mostly produced things for IMAX later on. But this is one of his very few fictional films. He did a few early ones about there's one called Love Goddesses, which is about starlets in Hollywood and things like that. How he got involved in this particular production, I do not know. This was the brainchild of Wilson Ashley, who was also the writer, and William Maloney. They were both the producers. They're the ones who got together the money for this film, formed the production company Boar's Head Productions. To make it, it was primarily, I might as well say the synopsis now. Yeah. I cut this down a lot. It's a very long, convoluted plot. A man who's having an affair with a junkyard owner's daughter, Sheila Britt, stages an accident where his wife thinks she's run over a man and killed him. However, it is a drifter, a strange man who's nearby, sees what actually happened. And after at first being very sleazy, he's the one in that trailer who's like, why don't we go inside and play house? Eventually reveals that, because he eventually does some investigating, it turns out that the wife's lawyer found out about her husband and the daughter's with Sheila and the affair with Sheila. So they decide to get him out of the way. And then as a result, and also Sheila's father is involved in this plot, I believe, as well too, because so the two had then hoped to put the blame on the wife and eventually gain her inheritance money. However, this man sees what actually happens, figures it out, and so things start to fall apart with this plan. I know that at one point the husband, for some odd reason, kills Sheila's father, starts to go insane a little bit. The wife starts to go insane a little bit at one point too. She finds the wrong dead body at one point, then she goes insane in the muck and has that great tries to seduce that man Joe, let's go to hell together sequence. And it ends with the drifter and the husband climbing up the side of the reservoir dam in this chase scene, which was fully real. The poor guys had to climb up scale that wall for this movie. And at the top, Sheila, pissed off because he killed her father, pushes her lover down to his death. Yeah, mostly shot up in Westchester County. Press listed that it has mostly been with off-Broadway actors. I know that two of the stars, Noelle Dierking and Robert Mealy, had done a bunch of local TV around the same time. How Sheila got involved, I unfortunately do not know. It was originally shot...
Probably modeling.
Yeah, maybe. It was originally shot under the title Downfall, and I take it that Brenner changed it to The Seducers. It did seemingly do very well for him at the time it came out. I mean, it's 62. It had a lot of
early.
As you could tell even by the trailer, it's not very sexploitation, but it has some very erotically charged moments and some really fantastic cinematography of those close-ups of Sheila laying down in the grass, and the close-up of the hand like going over her garter and things like that, and some of the other noirish things. Like, it is quite sexy, and it does look like a very adult flick, but not like in a sexploitation sense. Like,
it reminds me like a common law wife, sort of, where it's like it's not exactly sexploitation, but it would be advertised that way.
It's very
more of like it's like domestic melodrama with some murder and
exactly like when the wife's mind snaps, she gets all she's like, she has that wonderful seductive scene where she's crawling to him on the ground covered in muck, going, "Come on, Joe, let's go to hell together." Like, there's just so many parts of this movie that have sexual tension to them. And again, it was shot for $65,000. It looks like a very good film. And it got pretty decent reviews. The only real consensus was that the plot, as I was trying to, again, explain it, is kind of convoluted. That was really the one major consensus with reviewers. I love how the press book has quotes from, we spoke to theater patrons who came out and said, was like, why don't they make movies like more like this? This is so wonderful and frank and mature and da. And it seems to have done well. It got quite a bit of press ads in like things like Box Office and Variety, and which listed that it had some pretty good runs. Its first run, the biggest one, was that it played for 2 months at the Rialto, then moved down to the Liberty. But in certain other major areas, like in Boston or Philadelphia, where other films stayed for a maximum of like 2 weeks, maybe, it played for 4, 3 in quite a few areas. It seemed like it did well enough to be held over compared to other films. Like, the most I've ever noticed with a lot of these movies is that like they'll play a maximum of 2 weeks. If they play longer, it's a sign that they were doing well.
Well, I think Brenner did a good job marketing it. I think it does. Yeah, I can see why it did well.
Yeah, he did, and it's thankfully available on Twisted Sex. Volume 15 has the more censored. There were 2 trailers. It has a more censored trailer. That's on volume 15. Then volume 27 has the very sexy, the much better erotically charged trailer. It had 2 different campaigns. Seducers was a problematic title. A lot, like, the radio ads were made for this. I don't think it got any radio play because I've read one article about radios rejecting the spots for it. But also it had a lot of problems with newspapers, which prompted Brenner to go back and come out with a full new campaign. I sent you guys that has the very that instead of listing the title, it's speech bubbles with characters being like, I just committed the greatest sin, blah, 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 in this one movie. The title, well, it's kind of unusual. You'll just have to call the theater at this. You'll just have to call this theater at the number to find out. Till then, I'll be waiting.
Which is so crazy, because The Seducers is not that. It was not manufactured, because I feel like some of these cases are like are really wily and smart distributors who are like, well, the title, it's too tantalizing, and it's something like Lovers, and I'm just like, that's not.
Well, I don't know, because I did read actual reports that, like, in the trades a couple times, like, papers were he was having more problems than regular with that title, Seducers. in 62. Yeah, in 62, Seducers was problematic, or else I don't think he would have issued a full new press, like a full campaign to send to everyone. That literally says in the press, that says
it was around the same time, right? It wasn't like a year. It wasn't like a year or two later, right?
No, the press book even says like in lieu of you having issues, here's a campaign for it.
Wild. Well, it's funny because just 3 years later, Friedman would drop The Defilers, which sounds even more risque than The Seducers. He didn't have any problems with that, as far as I know, right?
Yeah, now that you think about
The Defilers title.
A lot can change in 3 years.
I know. It's just especially in the 60s. Things were moving really
this
fast.
Played pretty well, actually, to the point that I guess it got subtitled in Spanish because it played under a Spanish title in California to in some one or two Spanish speaking,
maybe
in one or two Spanish theaters.
Spanish.
It also had very decent foreign sales. It went to Germany. It went to Argentina. I might have also gone to Finland.
It does seem like it could. Yeah, it's like it has that flavor where it could go anywhere. It kind of feels like one of those Euro sexploitation films. Yeah,
you're very right. It's kind of Euro sleaze in terms of like where it goes and also how it holds back at the same time as well.
But gives just enough. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. It is like when I was watching the trailer, I was like, oh, that's good. Oh, okay. I would be enticed if I was a heterosexual man by some of the shots of Sheila in that, And there's a little bit like it's a stiller too of her.
So like that other European angle to it, Sheba Britt.
Yeah, and I mean I've seen a still. I don't know if it's in the movie. I've seen a still or two of her bare buttocks in that when she comes out of the shower in that one sequence and things like that. There might have been a tiny smidge here and there to keep the audiences a bit happy. But yeah, no, you can find quite a bit of German paper for this and things like that. Like, no, it's one of those ones where I have some decent faith in it showing up. Maybe not in the US, maybe, but elsewhere. So yeah, it did quite well. Did the investors manage to get back all their money? Probably not, because 65,000
probably not.
Yeah, Brenner would have.
Even if it did make the money back, I don't know if he would have paid them back.
Brenner would have also hoped to at least get 65,000 back himself. Like the maximum.
It depends on how much he bought it because he didn't produce it; he just distributed it. So if he paid a lump sum, then he would have made. Then he would have been more focused on just making sure he made more than he paid for it. Whether he was going to pay anything back to those investors, that's not really on him necessarily. That's on the producers to make sure that they sold the movie to the right distributor to get money to give their investors. Yeah. So that is a thing. It's like Brenner might have made a portion on this, but when he got back to the producers,
it really depends because I think like at least in the technical report for obscenity, it was like listed that like most hope to at least have gotten back after Prince and investment at least like $50,000 to $100,000 on one of these movies. You hoped that you got at least that. That was like the at least end goal for one of these distributors. That's a good sign that your film did well if you were in that bracket, depending on what distributor you were. So for a $65,000 film, no. In this kind of market, who knows?
Dude, where did that money go?
Well, it looks like it went. Have you seen the trailer? It looks like it went. To some good, like
shooting on location, using stunt people, very well shot. I mean, the cinematographer might have had a certain fee. Like, yeah, it's not. That money doesn't always necessarily go to production design. It will sometimes go to your tech people. For example, the Metzgers, all of that money, he spent more money on tech people than cast. So even if he only shot in a few locations, he paid his tech people well, so it looked gorgeous. So $65K looks pretty fair for something that looks as professional as The Seducers to me.
Exactly. Some of the setups, some of the lighting I saw in that trailer, I was just thinking back of having had to light things myself. It's like, okay, that would have taken a bit more time to set up that one
time
shot.
Is money on any production.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. Right. You're moving around those giant 1,000-watt lights, really making sure that everything, Right. So
there's a lot of locations in that movie too. It looks like. I mean,
there's the full. They had the full. They had They had actually, I think I forgot, is that there was a bit of a fight in a junkyard scene, in the scene with the junkyard, with cars being demoed behind them. It was apparently a bit of a scary shit to do because there's full cars being like crushed around them in this fight sequence in the junkyard and things like that. So yeah, it was pretty kind of elaborate in terms of like where it went in the film. It's not just like in one house. It's not just like one property and things like that. It was shot all over Westchester.
Well, hopefully that shows up. Maybe it might be one of the cases of what's the Sarno that's in German.
Oh, Scarf of Mist, Thigh of Satin,
and also Love Rebellion.
And Love Rebellion.
Love Rebellion.
Yeah.
Yes. There we go.
Yeah.
It might be one of those cases where, hey, if it shows up, we'll take it.
Yeah, it looks like it came out as a pretty more general like release. I can't find any paper for those. Actually, no, I can for Deep Inside. But you can find so many German programs and stills and posters for The Seducers. It looks like it was pretty decent if there's that much paper lying around as well.
Yeah.
Right. Well, I like the idea of maybe the only version we'll see of The Seducers is dubbed in German. So we get to see Sheba Britt, who is German, dubbed in German by somebody else.
Even though it's not her voice.
In English. Yeah. So it's like, that might be the only way we ever get to hear her speak German, not even her voice. Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe if she's around, we can bring her back and she can do it in German again.
She is around.
Yeah, exactly. If she's willing to. Yeah. If she's willing to, we'll bring her back.
I'd love to get an interview with her. We'll see if she's up there, but never say never.
Casey, what do you got?
Oh wow. Okay, so God, I just realized that I must love 1969, which is wild because that was like the last year of like all softcore.
True.
Well, actually, no. The first hardcore was 69. But my number 3 is Ride, Mister from 1969.
It is not uncommon to see girls hitchhiking the streets and highways of America today. Are they lured by the excitement of danger or adventure? They could find both. What force compels these girls to hitch ride after ride?
Would you mind telling me just what in the devil you two girls are doing out here in the desert, hitchhiking?
Well, we're on our way to L.A. to see Chris's father.
Hitchhiking?
Well, it didn't start out that way.
Will be surprised what happens to Roy, the well driller. He was.
Hey, what the hell's going on?
Could this be your daughter who is spending a quiet weekend with her girlfriend? The strange adventures of two young girls whose wild sexual imaginations are put into practice. See how they tease their willing victims in submissions. An afternoon to lose, and almost lost his life.
But you can't mean that you're gonna just leave me out here in the middle of nowhere.
Just think of the story you can tell your friend tomorrow. But just in case you decide to tell the police, don't forget that she's just 16 and I'm only 17.
For the first time on a screen, Ride, Mister brings you the startling facts about today's hippie hikers.
Which is, I chose it because it is the first movie from my beloved Tally Cochran, where she fled out to L.A., became a topless dancer, got in trouble with the law, and then stumbled into sexploitation. And this is her first movie. It's also the only movie where she's billed using her actual real name, which is Lillian Cochran. She's Lillian Chick Cochran, and it's Chick, which she then later adjusted to Chick spelled like chic when she went to New York, like a year and a half later.
If you want to hear us talk about Tally, listen to our Sassy Sue episode.
Right, exactly. Yeah, she's great. So the AFI synopsis: teenage cousins Wanda and Chris skip school one day to sunbathe in the desert, where they are attacked and raped by 3 drunken men. Thereafter, the 2 girls seek revenge for their mistreatment. Each weekend, they drive to the outskirts of the city and abandon their car. They then pretend to be hitchhikers and lure their victims off the road with the promise of sex. Afterwards, the girls brashly rob their victims' cars and money, confident that the men will not report the incident to the police. One day, the girls lure homosexual Claude off the road, but his sexual requests are so strange that the girls leave him stranded without his clothes. With nothing to lose, he reports the incident to the police. And that's it. That's the synopsis. And I think it's one of the only sexploitation, maybe the only sexploitation movie that Bruce Kimball, who was an Al Adamson regular, was in, where he actually did nudity, because he shows up in these things all the time. You see him nude in this trailer, and so I'm like, okay, this must have been before he decided that was not a good career move. He trying to think who else is in this. So there's an actress named Laurie Brown, who's credited as Lynn Laurie, and she's the star of There She Blows. She's in Her Odd Tastes with an actress named Jeanette Mills, who's also in this. They're in the Black Mass sequence of that. There's a future porn star named Woody. Yeah. She's in Private Arrangements, and she's in a few My Tam movies too. There's a future hardcore porn star named Woody Lee who's in this, and James E. Myers is in this, and he was the co-writer of Rock Around the Clock. And then he starred in the title role of Fabulous Bastard from Chicago, and then he was in The Divorcee, and then he made a few little hardcore movies. And also Christopher Stone, who was in Joys of Jezebel. He's the male lead in that, is also in this. So there's some pretty key people from that 69, 70 thing. Assistant director was Bob Dix, who was, the Al Adamson guy. And the director is a guy named Don Hallstrom. So he worked with Dave Friedman on Defiler, Smell of Honey, and She Freak. He was the production manager on those 3 films. And then after this, he was the production manager on Incredible Two-Headed Transplant and Keep Off the Grass. So this is the only movie he directed. He wrote, produced, and directed it. And it's also a rare movie from Charles H. Leonard for Unit 10 Productions that was not a Don Greer movie. And so I'm just waiting for people to say Don Hallstrom was Don Greer, when I don't believe that was the case, because they're both named Don, but I don't believe that's the case. This also just looks very different from a Don Greer movie. The cinematographer was a guy named Al Denny, who worked on like Office Lovin' and That Tender Touch and a few other things. So it's very well shot, almost all outdoors. Very good outdoor cinematography. A lot of low angle shots of the girls on hitchhiking.
Oh my God!
Love the low angle shots. Really big fans of those.
It's like right through Tally's legs, and it's pretty explicit.
There's a million great shots.
It's classic.
This is what grabbed me a lot with this trailer. Was on one of my short lists. It looks so good, right down to the dancing scene in that club. Tally's got a few great lines. Tally's on full speed, on full steam acting with this one too. Again, a great plot as well. The women get their get their dues, and things like that. How can you not go wrong with Tally Cochran luring men out and getting vengeance? How can you how can that not be good?
It's before Fugitive Girls, where it's a similar kind of role,
and it's before teenage hitchhikers, which sounds a little similar.
East Coast. Teenage Hitchhikers is not. That plot is that's a very good comedy. That's actually really good. I love Teenage Hitchhikers.
That's a fun time, but
it's
not
similar
sinister like this.
The Hitchhikers, which is the Sebastian's movie, which was 2 years later. So this is actually kind of an early hitchhiker movie too. You don't really see a lot of movies focusing on women hitchhiking. And that would kind of go away, as you know, by the mid to late 70s, when serial killers made it their hobby to target women who were vulnerable out on the road in the middle of nowhere.
Women were starting to get their revenge around this time. Finally, 68, 69.
I'm into it.
You start seeing them. You start seeing them fighting back and taking, being like, you know what? I'm sick of being the roughie victim. I'm going to roughie you up instead.
And that is kind of a nice change, right? I mean, at 69, we've been through so many roughies. New York is still doing a lot of that kind of stuff. But this is like, well, no, we're going to do what we want. We're going to lie and say we're 14, even though Tally looks vividly like 27 years old.
Yes.
But I mean, when this trailer popped up, I was kind of like, it's another one that was on Twisted Sex 27, which was just like that last volume was one of the best because it had The Longer Seducers, it had House of Red Dragon, and then it had Ride Mister. And Ride Mister was such a great little discovery because it was like, oh, this was Tally's first film. And it just looks really well produced. And I wish that it was still around.
And also a great relief because the poster's not the most incredible.
Oh, I was just gonna say,
the campaign. Like now, I regret missing out on buying the press book when it was available to me because I was like, oh, this does not look good. I need to now because again, even the mats aren't the most incredible. But like, it's one of those films that like deserve such a better campaign for the.
Well, that might be how you know that Don Hallstrom is not Don Greer, because if it was Don Greer, that campaign would have been better, and it was not.
I can practically see it. Yes. Oh man.
And it looks like really bad early Photoshop. It's just terrible. It's really not a bad campaign.
Yeah, I thought the movie was called Stop at first. I thought the movie
Ride Mister is so small up in the corner.
I thought Ride Mister was like a tagline, and it was it has text that looks like it's a tagline on the poster. So it's like, and I feel like based on that, it might not have done very good business, But Charles H. Leonard. It looks like one of the more, and it's crazy that it came out the same year that Leonard was the financier for House of Red Dragon. Because while that looks much more like lavish in terms of production design and costume design and stuff, this looks so much better shot, and it's such a more meager production in terms of it's set in like a few hotel rooms and out in the desert, but it looks so much more professionally photographed and mounted than House of the Dragon, which is aiming for the stars. So it's interesting to compare those two from the same financier that same year. It's crazy.
I guess they're just trying to go more lavish Hollywood and just with House of Red Dragon, and just Ride Mister just looks like they know how to make the most of every single little meager location they know that they get.
Right. And it's also kind of the Russ Meyer mode where it's like, let's just go out to the desert and just shoot everything out in the fucking desert, because no one's going to try to arrest us for being naked running around in the sand.
It looks like it might have that energy, like with the brazen strong women and things like that. Like it does seem to have a bit of a Meyer energy to it in this trailer. Just slightly.
I mean, the editing is not Meyer editing, but the visuals are, especially those low angle shots.
So some of the energy it seems to have in some of the performers and things like that. It's just like a little bit of a subtle look back to some of the people in Vixen and Common Law. Just that energy.
Right.
Yeah, that's a good pick. I would really like to see that one too. All right, speaking of two,
we're getting down to it.
All right, my number 2 is also a swap. This is my Sandy Johnson pick.
Nice.
So swapping out Justine. That was my number 2. So my Sandy Johnson, I feel like this is a good swap. We'll do another Sandy Johnson with Peggy Sarno. We'll do Infidelity, American Style.
That's good.
Adulterous lovers, cheating wives, Infidelity, American Style. The lost lusts and perversions of the American style of life and business. The vicious fantasies of twisted minds hiding behind the mask of respectability. Of jaded insatiability. Infidelity, American style.
How often do you play these games?
Once or twice a month. You want to join the fun?
Infidelity, American style. A brutally daring expose of passion and greed. The corrupted decadity, American style.
With Joanna Mills, Peggy Steffens making out on a boat. I have a feeling this might have been shot around the same time as they shot that Puerto Rico Justine. Maybe. They were. The location, the trailer. Some of the locations look a little familiar, but anyways. This is a Greed and Ambition in the Executive Suite movie. There is quite a bit of plot in this one. I think Alex is digging it up right now.
Keep talking. I'm working. Keep talking. I'm working on it. Keep talking.
So adulterous lovers and cheating wives and money, boardrooms. So he's digging through. On the one sheet, we've got, "Come in, darling. My husband is at work." And we've got, the only two main actors I know of are Joanna Mills and Peggy Steffens, but I think Alex might have some more.
But then I have a weird comment.
Yes.
The poster says this is a Sam S. Kata film. So where is that coming from? Because Sam S. Kata did I Want You. He did Gigi Goes to Pot. He did other films later than this. This looks like a reissue poster, if I'm going to be honest.
Which poster are you looking? Where are you seeing it?
The main poster on IMDb for Infidelity American Style says an S. Kata film. That's Sam S. Kata, who was not at all related to Johnson. So I'm confused by this poster, because does that mean that Sandy Johnson didn't make this? I believe that he did, because I think the AFI catalog
He's listed as producer and director.
Right. So where is Kata coming from? Is he just stealing credit on this poster?
Yeah, because he's
Chancellor trying to bury him. Well, who was in charge of Chancellor? Sandy.
It's listed as S. Kata Films and then distributed by Chancellor Films.
Sam Kata must have produced it then.
Yes. So
he became a director. Okay.
In terms of the plot, I'll just read it out here. Business executive Harold Wainwright, looking for a new vice president to fill a vacancy, invites his brightest men and their wives to a party. Several people at the party have been unfaithful, and their stories are revealed in flashback. One of the men, resentful that his wife will not compromise herself to further her husband's career, has violent fantasies in which she beats her. The Richters remain behind after the party ends, and they swap mates with the Wainwrights. It becomes clear that Bill Richter will get the coveted promotion.
Yep.
The original press was probably more detailed.
Yeah, probably. Well,
probably.
Well, it sounds like she's doing it again, which is really good. We should talk about that at some point. But Uta Erickson, maybe her best role. That one's really good. Yeah.
Yeah, the trailer for this one is kind of all over the place. So I'd like to see how it plays out. But it's Peggy Sarno and Sandy Johnson. Yeah, another lost Chancellor.
And Joanna Mills, which is a rare non-Sarno film for her. She was in, Anything from Money and Ben How to Make It, right? Was she in both? Or was she just in Anything for Money?
Because
definitely Anything for Money.
The blonde one. She's the blonde one, right?
Right.
Yeah, so she was in Swapping How to Make It. She's in
wasn't she in Red Roses?
Merchant. She's in Red Roses, Swapping How to Make It. She's in Love Merchant. She's in
Sex Cycle.
Sex Cycle. I love Joy. I love her so much. So
Sex Cycle is kind of her. Yeah.
And another non-one that she was in, the other one that's coming to mind is Aroused.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
Which
is very Which
I don't remember her in Aroused. I need to rewatch.
She's the wife
she's another. Oh yes, she is. She's
the detective. Yeah. She's the one who's like, I wonder what my husband would think if I was entertaining a man, and the killer goes probably a whore like everyone else.
Right.
He's that line. Yeah. She's the one where she almost gets stabbed in the end. And things. So yeah, with her in it, hopefully there's more than meets the eye.
I'd like to see
synopsis.
Yeah, her and Peggy worked together quite a lot. So
because she was a Sarno girl.
Yeah, I wonder if they were just good friends as well.
Let's ask Bowen.
I wonder how much some of the Sarno people socialized outside of if any of them did.
I wonder. I feel like Joe and Peggy are different because years later they were still in touch with their actors that they worked with. I feel like it was much more of like a theater troupe than anything. It wasn't like even Rotzler similar, and then he kept in touch with a lot of those people. But that's true. It wasn't that common.
Actors
Barry Mahon didn't keep in touch with any of these people.
Well, I'm also curious because I've learned this a bunch with with a bunch of other Milligan people. Like our co-stars would remain friends for long period of time, like to this day sometimes, and that's how they lead like to each other. Oh, actually, I recommended this person for this film. We're good friends to this day,
right?
Or I met on the set and we're still good friends. Yep,
that's my number 2. My original was Justine.
Wow.
All right,
that doesn't seem like a fair trade. Unfortunately,
I would agree with you, but all right, Alex, let's do your number 2.
Casey, the bone I have to pick with you. Because you took two of mine. No, it was not. It was Weekend with Strangers.
Oh, so we did all three pick Weekend with Strangers.
That. That's so funny.
Yeah, I just didn't want to say yet.
Officially, that's so basically officially that is the cumulative Sin Syndicate's #1 most wanted because we all three picked it. That is the one, I think.
Again, I love a dark little drama, even if it's color. Is a New York drama.
I was gonna say, Alex going color 70s.
Hey, it still hits enough of the beats. It looks like it still hits enough of the beats, and I love Submission too.
Yeah.
So
Submission
the other
is masterpiece.
Film, exactly. Exactly. You look.
That's why I wish they would fucking talk. Like, be proud of your work. It's not embarrassing. It's really good. Like,
yeah. Submission was one of the few. Like when I was starting out, that was like gobsmacked by some of the things in that
candy bar scene.
So good.
Oh yeah,
the candy bar scene. The editing in that scene is so crazy. It's really
even though it can be very flesh heavy, even the dream sequences and the candle stuff, like
the style in that is just off the wall. Yeah,
fantastic. So yeah, like despite the fact that Weekend with Strangers is more of a color film, it hits enough of it. There's enough going for it that I'm like, you know what? Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, unfortunately, you're gonna have to pass on.
Oh, you're out of the. Oh, okay.
I'm out. Yeah, I'm out. I'm done.
Wait, why is that my fault? He picked it.
Let's come play with me too.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
Put down the riding crop. Put down the riding crop.
All my damn New Yorkers.
Listen, Milligan Jr. with your riding crop. Oh wow, so it does go to me. Oh wow, okay. Well, I
don't
honestly,
pick his #1.
My #2 was Weekend with Strangers as well, so we both matched in that way too.
Oh, beautiful.
I could keep talking about that movie, but I won't. But
we can do a whole podcast just talking about Weekend with Strangers.
I basically we should just try to call Arthur now. Be like, it's 3:30. Let's talk. Yeah,
we're talking about you. Did you hear us?
Yeah,
right. We're talking about this movie that.
Hey, they even got a boat for it too. Like the second that they go outside and then get on a boat and start strangling each other on the boat, like just everything about that.
And it's crazy because basically, okay, so let me put it this way: of all the people that we know who worked on this, the only person who is still alive is Alan Savage. Laura's gone, Jennifer's gone, David Gale is gone, Ron Sullivan, Arthur D. Marks died in the 80s, Manny Duran. Everyone we know is involved with this movie is gone. Alan, it's on you at 88 years old. We need to hear from you. Like, you're our last hope to know anything more about the production of this movie because we don't know anything else. So anyway, Weekend with Strangers. My alternate for Weekend with Strangers is Threesome from 1970. Distributed by Howard Mahler Films, which is primarily known for their horror films, so like Deep Red and other imports like that. So this was an early Howard Mahler Films thing. But the reason why I picked it is because it's the Rosetta Stone of Group One distributors. Because Group One, who did like Mansion of the Doomed and Alligator and all these other films in the 70s and 80s, was begun by Brandon and Marianne Chase. So this was directed by Brandon Chase, and it was a U.S.-Denmark co-production. It stars Judy Brown, who we know and love from Big Dollhouse and all these other 70 Women in Cages, a lot of other 70s exploitation movies. And the second female lead is a certain Marianne Thalstead, a.k.a. Marianne Chase. So that is a big reason why, even if anything emerges of this film, we probably will never see it because Brandon passed away just recently in 2020. They both ended up very wealthy. So, when they used to still have the rights to the Group One stuff, Alligator was huge. A lot of stuff. Group One was pretty major.
Yeah.
So they made a shit ton of money. But also Brandon was the head of NBC New Orleans News Bureau in the 60s, and he directed Girl in Trouble, which is really terrific. It's a good girl. It lives up to the title. The girl is in trouble, and it's really good. So he was familiar with sexploitation before he did this movie. But I can read you the synopsis, it's a synopsis, not the publication. It's 90 minutes. And Judy Brown is the only American in the cast. Everyone else in the cast is Danish, including Marianne Chase. Threesome is the story of Ursula, a beautiful young American girl who meets a Danish fashion designer in New York, marries him, and returns to him to his homeland, Denmark. Deep in Ursula's psyche is buried a trauma which causes her to be emotionally unstable. Until her marriage to Martin, there were no obvious manifestations of her problem. But now, transferred to a totally new environment in a country where she has no friends, where she can neither speak or understand the language, she begins to slip deeper and deeper into an emotional abyss. On the brink of collapse, she enters a mental hospital outside Copenhagen, where she befriends Peter, a young Dane whose problems, though of a different nature from Ursula's, are nonetheless as severe. Together, they try to fight their problems, but fail with a resounding crash as Peter dies from an overdose of drugs. Ursula runs away from the hospital in despair and into the arms of Kirsten, Europe's top fashion model. Ursula finds what she feels is real happiness in the lesbian affair, only to be shattered again when she finds she's pregnant from her stay with Peter at the hospital. What happens to her life with Kirsten, and what of the child still unborn? Hard, relenting, totally realistic look at what can happen to human beings incapable of functioning under stress and strain. So it's the trailer gives you no indication of that. The trailer doesn't really have any footage from the movie in it. It's all hyperbole. The press book is interesting because it has rave reviews from Variety, Backstage, Cinema Magazine from London, and Beverly Hills Courier. And it has a few other, it has like all the cast on the back in images or whatever. But yeah, I've been wanting to see this for years, specifically because of the Brandon and Marianne Chase connection, but also Judy Brown, who I've always loved. And I think she's one of my favorite, 70s exploitation actresses. This opened, according to AFI, in Los Angeles, October 2nd, 1970. And then crazily enough, Group 1 reissued the film in 1974 as Models Incorporated. So Group 1, aka the Chases, still have the rights to this movie. And if it exists in like negative form or any preprint element form, they control the rights to it. So it's very, very unlikely we're going to see this until Marianne Chase passes away. But even their kids might be very protective of this, specifically because their mother is the second lead in this, lesbian sexploitation movie.
It's pretty,
but I'm dying to see this.
Yeah, pretty explicit.
Mm-hmm. And it's artistic. It kind of reminds me of Relations, which was a Danish movie that Lee Hessel imported from Canvas, for Canvas. But it's kind of interesting because it's also a last gasp for softcore right before hardcore took over. So that's my number 2.
Or the poster I'm looking at, it's like seized by U.S. Customs, and in the case of I Am Curious and Without a Stitch, was finally released by the U.S. Attorney General's office without a single cut. Yeah, they're really hyping it up.
I think the trailer does that too. It mentions remember Fanny Hill, Without a Stitch, all these Swedish and Danish and other Scandinavian imports. And actually, the same year or the year before this came out, maybe. Oh no, it was a year after. Was Made in Sweden, which was a U.S. Swedish co-production, which was Canon Films, and then another Swedish company with Christina Lindberg. So these kind of co-productions were happening pretty frequently. Even Erotic Adventures of Zorro is a U.S. German co-production. Friedman and
the Siegfried one too.
Adrian Hoven, wasn't it? Yeah, Siegfried was as well. Yeah, so they both were. So yeah, I mean, it's interesting that this was a pretty substantial. It was a much more mainstream example of that. They're trying to promote it as something much more accessible, much more artistic than something like a Siegfried or a Fanny Hill.
To the point that they have a green band version of the trailer that says "To be run with G" and GP rated films. Can you imagine?
Yes. I'm just what? Well, actually, you know what? Maybe the version on Twisted Sex is that version because there's no footage from the movie in it. It's all hyperbole. So that might be what we have available. Might be the green band version. Then we haven't seen the actual red band one with footage.
Because it is said to be run with R and X rated films. Why would they be hiding something if they have two different trailers?
Right. So, I mean, and that's why I was so glad that I got the press book because I was like, well, I love this trailer, but what the hell is this? So when I finally got a hold of the press book, I was like, oh, I can see people are actually in this. I can hear what it's about. I can, so that's why, people love collecting posters. Posters are great. I'm more of a press book girly.
Yes.
Press book girly. Yeah. They have synopses. They have different kinds of different versions of artwork in it. Like, yeah, press books are typically for me much more interesting.
Well, they actually give you information, and they normally have the artwork anyway.
Yeah,
like press books are
the
best
addresses of the distributors. They have and sometimes they have stamps on the back saying where you can order materials from. So you have information on depots where people would get press materials.
Sub-distributor stamps as well. It's how I figured it out where some films could have also gone to.
Right. So I would actually recommend collectors, anybody listening. I know posters also tend to be much more expensive because they're bigger. If you can find press books affordably, sometimes you can find really good lots of press books. Gold mine, absolute gold mine. So much good stuff in there.
Or don't for my sake, but okay.
Oh yeah, no, don't bother. Go for the posters, right?
I totally there's so many one sheets.
Like I used to do.
God, 8x10 stills are so much neater. You get oh my goodness,
and easier to frame for your wall too. Actually,
exactly.
Yes.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, nobody's framing press books, are they?
I am one of
I have before.
Because if you have a nice big thing that's about the size of a poster, you can sometimes you can fit 3 press books in there. So you have
actually more gallery wall. You can make a gallery wall. I've done that before. Yeah, you can make a really nice gallery
which
wall.
I'm thinking of doing because there are only so many posters that I want up, but I also have so many more press books. So I would like to have more on my wall.
And the frames are actually much cheaper because most of those one sheets are 27 by 41, which is a dead poster format. Most frames are 27 by 40. You have to spend a lot more. Oh, some of those 42 by 28s. Some of those Friedman ones, don't get me started. They really set you back.
Well, also the press books, Friedman's and Novak's press books tend to be different sizes too than other press books.
But normally
Starlet's press book is nuts.
Yeah,
Starlet's press book is weird dimensions, but
normally they're 11 by 17. You can get affordable frames for them at craft stores and things like that. But
I think you can order packages of 3 or 4 in a group on Amazon for $25 sometimes. Yeah, I hate Amazon, but if you can find it from another seller and buy directly from the seller, do that.
If you want wall art, I don't know. I guess Redbubble's cheaper. Don't bother with the press books.
Just get reproductions. Just stick to the reproductions. Leave the originals to us. Go get some reproductions.
Hell, I'll take it. I'll send you a scan. Just let me take it.
Exactly.
Actually.
On this note, did I ever? Not before we go on to our finals. Did I tell you guys about when I went to Distripix headquarters a couple years ago, and Steve Morowitz let me take any press book that I wanted as long as there was a duplicate? So that's how I got copies of all the MyTam press books. He had press books of softcore and hardcore, and it was just stuff because it was Distripix, and they also ran the movie theater here in New York. So they got all this marketing shit. So basically Steven was like, yeah, as long as there's a duplicate so I can scan it for the archives, take it. So I just took so much stuff. I went home and my car felt heavier. So yeah. And so that's how I got the singles. That's how I got the press books for all the Lost Findlay stuff. And that's I think I got the Honey press book from there too.
Not to belabor the point, but what happened to the press book? What killed the press book? It's
the press kit. It just became the press kit.
Right.
For whatever reason, it became let's just send a folder of a bunch of sheets of production information and a couple stills.
And you see that in later stuff, in 70s and 80s stuff, in the hardcore stuff, you definitely see that where it'll open up and sometimes it'll just be a poster and the back has stuff on it and that's it. That's the entire press kit. So it really, the creativity went out of that, I think.
Yeah. Hey, that's also the same reason as why did we lose an inch on the standard one sheet size? It just kind of happened, I guess.
Yeah, who made that decision? Right.
Well,
exactly.
Cost saving, probably. That's probably always the answer is
that's true. And they definitely don't make them. They make press kits now because I deal with distributors and studios now, but they're PDFs. They don't print them out. They don't send them to studios anymore or to distributors anymore. But yeah, sometimes this sometimes they're not even full books. Sometimes this Friends and Lovers, this is stapled. It's just a bunch of pages stapled together.
A bunch of Metzgers are like that. Yeah.
Yes. Sometimes they're not. They don't even spend the money to bind the press books. They're just like, oh, here's all this shit. We'll just staple it together and send it to the exhibitors. And it's like, that's fine as long as all the pages are in there.
We're ready for number ones.
Oh my gosh. All right. Gentry.
Well, I have to thank you guys for allowing me, for keeping one for me.
Oh no.
My number one, as a June Roberts superfan, is Death of a Nymphet.
Death of a Nymphet plunges you into the strange world of the sensually obsessed. You'll meet Peggy, a wild and wanton who only lives for her own physical pleasure. For Robert Allen, the nights were unbelievable in their erotic excess, till morning brought the gut-twisting truth of Peggy's unbridled nymphomania. Seeking solace in the arms of Gloria, Robert finds a different kind of love. A different kind of hate. Death of a Nymphet. A Nymphet warm, soft, and willing. Death of a Nymphet explores the lonely days and the thrill-packed nights. Death of a Nymphet is a movie that will stir your blood as no other film you have ever seen. Feel the tension of unbounded lust. See the trembling flesh consume itself in nights and days of uninhibited abandon. Know the twisted passion of jaded desire.
Yeah, that's a good pick.
Yes.
Chancellor, again.
What can you say? Another lost Chancellor, yeah. And another Janet Banzett featured lost film. But this, I don't know actually how much June Roberts is in this, but she is
probably
in it.
Just dancing, I think. Just based on the trailer, probably just a trademark June Robert dance special.
Yeah. But it is actually, I think, I think it's the only lost June Roberts film as far as I can tell.
There have to be more, right?
Maybe more than
maybe
Misconduct.
more that we don't know of.
She's also in Sandy Johnson's Misconduct,
right?
But we
that's
don't have
shocking to me if that's true.
We don't have a trailer for that one,
right? Oh, that's interesting.
June Roberts and
well, we got lucky then.
Wait, we do have a trailer for that one. Isn't it
for Misconduct? We do. Yeah. We have a trailer and a reel of it. Yeah.
Oh, I'm wrong. Yeah.
Well, we have the full movie. It's just in an archive.
Yes.
As well.
That's why I did not even shortlist it.
But yeah, the trailer for Death of a Nymphet, they say Nymphet about 50 times.
So much.
I don't know anything about Malcolm Fury, this director. Does anybody know anything about this guy?
Written, produced, directed?
Written, produced, directed.
Yeah.
Full credit.
Just one of those guys that, saw dollar signs in making a cheap sexploitation film in 1967. I don't know.
Though it does have,
more professional than that.
I'll be very honest. Yeah, I'll be very honest. Before I saw the trailer, because the press book does not have a lot of very interesting visuals in it, besides the strangulation shot. And the campaign's not the most interesting. So my hopes weren't the biggest until I saw that trailer, which has some incredibly visually interesting moments, like the scene with like the blank room with like just the bed in it.
Yes.
And things like that. Scene. Like the campaign's not the most incredible, though, despite the fact that I think June Roberts is on it. I will say that.
Yeah.
But the trailer's fantastic.
Trailer's great.
Mm-hmm.
And it's another long one too. But it also misspells it's weird. So the trailer has Nymphet just ending with a T, and then all the promo material ends with a TE, which is very strange. I don't know who they're trying to confuse here. It says TH All Production. Don't know who that production company is. I love that the leading man is the actor Durf Renrug, which is just Fred Gerner backwards.
Oh,
so whoever Fred Gerner was not a very good hiding place. Besides Peggy Steffens, we also get Yolanda Signorelli, the Sea Monkeys heiress, who I am still dying to interview.
Yeah.
But she has Sea Monkeys money. She doesn't want to talk to anybody, I'm sure.
The trailer, I think, also features my favorite line of all the trailers, which is, "The nights were unbelievable in their erotic excess." It's like one of those classic like sexploitation lines.
Love that line.
Good motto. It's kind of the motto for the entire era in a way.
Pretty much. And it's a lot. And of course, it has classic group party / orgy scene in a New York apartment.
Yeah.
June Roberts dancing. Classic. Yeah. And murder. We love a roughie with a murder. Actually, several murders in this.
Well, because this is about a guy who's like looking for the right
Perfect
woman
girl.
to fill the aching void of a shattered marriage, and so he goes. He finds like 3 different women who each have their own like things. Like it turns out that Peggy is a whirling nymphomaniac.
In all caps in the press book, nymphomaniac, in all caps.
And then the next woman, it turns out he finds out that she's actually a lesbian. Then
Frenchie,
and then Frenchie, who seems
Yolanda.
okay, however, is attacked by 2 men and assaulted, which turns. I hate this kind of a plot line, which means that which kind of kills it for Robert.
He's like, "You're filthy now,"
and so he slowly, and so pretty much he goes insane. And I wish it said what actually happened, but it just says turns Robert's dream after this assault turns Robert's dream and Frenchie's willing flesh into a nightmare of lust and revenge, driving Robert beyond the bounds of sanity into the darkness of insatiable hatred with the death of a nymphette. So I really hope it goes crazy. I hope it goes crazy at the end, but like it's not telling me.
I think the ending is in the trailer, is it not?
The bed shot, maybe.
I think the bed shot might. No, I think the bed strangulation is a dream sequence potentially, because it's her not getting raped by the 2 guys. It's her with some other random guy where he thinks, "Oh, you're a slut because you got raped." Basically, my takeaway from the trailer and the press book is, if that popular meme, if you're a woman, choose the man, or the bear, choose the bear, was a movie, it would be this movie. It's like, don't ever pick the man, because he's gonna think you're a slut. He's gonna hate you if you turn out to be a lesbian. If you get raped, he's gonna imagine murdering you. Right. Like, it's just like, yeah, it is actually, it's very indicative of a lot of those New York roughies where the men are trash, and for some reason we're supposed to relate to them, which is crazy. Very of their time, but also of this time too, in a sad turn of events.
Yeah. So I do kind of hope he goes insane at the end.
Yeah.
And there's something like that, hopefully he gets his comeuppance.
Yeah. It does look like it has some good style, more stylish than some of the others.
Yeah, that's what really drew me quite a bit in that trailer. And you'd be happy to know that both your favorite women were the most prominent on the campaign as well. Mostly Peggy.
Miss Peggy.
Yeah, that's why I picked it. I thank you guys for allowing me to have it.
Yeah.
Well, there were just also like too many for me here. Like, it's just one of those like, oh yeah, absolutely. Like, absolutely. I would love to see this. I just have so many others ahead of it. There's just too many.
Yeah, I think this is on volume 2 of Twisted Sex. Was it 1 or 2?
Yes,
2.
I think it's 2.
2 is a great one for these, for the Losties. 2 is another.
2, I believe, has the most lost trailers on it, I believe. Other than the one with all the horrible Topar movies, I don't know. Nobody wants to see those, so I don't consider. Yeah, goodbye. Yeah, nobody wants to see these quickie 16mm pieces of garbage.
Yeah, I saw that trailer like after I had already seen most of June Roberts' film, so I was like, I can't believe there's this other one out here I cannot see. And it really,
I know, and it's one of her last.
Yeah,
before she retired. Yeah.
So that's it. End on June Roberts. Yeah.
All right, Alex. I'm waiting with bated breath to see if you chose mine.
No, this definitely wouldn't have been on it, because this is one that we've mentioned a few times and it is available. And so this is my number 1 because I'm not sane, but you out there know who has this. You out there knows who can do something with this. That's all I'm going to say. And it is 1967. And it's my Sarno. I haven't had a Sarno yet.
Oh.
Scarf of Mist, Thigh of Satin.
If you think you've seen it all, you haven't. Scarf of mist, thigh of satin is different in every way.
Paul? Listen, Paul. I've got this friend and she's in town, and I'd like you to go out with her. No, she's not a pig.
A story of the women who hire men to entertain their customers, and of the very special parties. To live, they must destroy the people around them.
Paul, I've got to wash Drew right out of my business.
This is a motion picture that is written in violence and bathed in blood. This is the story of the silk stocking industry, an industry of perversion.
And you've got to help me do it tonight.
The sellers of dresses are the buyers of flesh. For all times, the soul is lost. They live for the moment. Your eyes do not deceive. What you see is happening. Scarf of mist, thigh of satin is different. Their lives are immoral. The people are violent.
I want to put this out there because it is around. It's quite available to certain parties and things like that. So and it also looks very good. Not as much as, it shows that Christine, do you pronounce it Sibel?
Yeah, I say Sibel. I think it's Sibel.
Yeah, I say Sibel. It looks like, again, one where she actually gets to act in this. In this one, she has one or two good lines in the trailer, and this is another this is one where Peggy gets to just be wicked.
Love it.
This is a great happy International Women's Day type of movie. It's
like Death of an Infant.
Oh no, this is all woman power. This is an interesting one. How instead of because a lot of Sarno's other ones, they work at just like a paper mill or something really bland.
Yeah, it was
Love Rebellion.
Yeah, this is one.
It's like, anyway.
This is one where Peggy and Sheila own a fashion house that's financially unstable. Sheila's designs are not selling well in particular, and that's causing some strain. A model who has an abusive boyfriend, it looks like it might be Christine playing this part. I kind of couldn't infer enough from the trailer. I don't know the press book, but I think it's her as this character. Steals someone else's designs and presents them to Peggy, hoping to get her foot up. And Peggy, impressed with them, decides to find a way to get rid of Sheila, so she throws the most orgiastic business party I've ever seen. Because there's some other like associates and things coming in, and plots it so knowing that Sheila will not be able to refrain from participating, she stages it so that like Peggy comes in, finds Sheila seemingly not representing the company in very high regard. So she freaks out, feigns freaking out, and gets rid of Sheila through that. Christine, again, like I said, has an abusive boyfriend, which is, I believe it's Judson Todd, who, like, beating her.
That age difference is not great, but yeah.
Yeah, and also Judson Todd playing a sadist.
So old for that.
Also, yeah, Judson
that is
playing
wild,
a sadist. That is really
dude.
wild. Yeah, exactly. So
Louis Waldron would have been better.
So he's really like hoping. So he's really wanting this to turn out well, because he's hoping that she'll get a much higher paid job as a result of this, and so on and so forth. But turns out she is not remotely getting as much as he wanted through this new arrangement. And so he goes berserk. And I think results in that scene where he's holding the gun to her head. In the trailer, it shows this like great tense scene of like him holding a gun to Christine's head with the group of people around him. And in the midst of the chaos, he's accidentally killed. And Christine is very regrettable about all this mess.
That's good.
Yeah, somebody on Letterboxd, Nikolai, he was like, 65 minutes of crazy gazes, sex, and intrigue between a bunch of promiscuous men and women working in a New York fashion house. Then in the last 15 minutes or so, they have a weird, surreal sex party where the film simply explodes, leaving you with your mouth open saying, what the fuck just happened? So yeah, that sounds very intriguing.
Yeah. I mean, every one of his three chancellors look like good productions to me in terms of at least the plotting as well too. Like Bed of Violence as a whole, like murder sequence, blackmail at some club, and things.
That's what I'm least interested in, just because it looks like it's mostly it's centralized on a male character. Which I'm not interested in. Yeah, like that's why I don't really love like The Love Merchant. I'm like, give me some women, please. I want to focus on some women dealing with their problems, like having major issues.
but they look, compared to like the Morris Kaplan ones were so cheap he couldn't leave Morris's studio for those. Like these look like you know. Like kind of similar budgets to the Distribix ones. And there's also Irene Tabari, who I love to see in these. Just Sarno characters who pop up who I love. Cherry Winters is apparently in this as well. Would also love seeing her. Yeah, it just, again, I love the idea of woman versus woman drama in the cutthroat fashion industry. Like, I'm surprised we didn't get anything more. Like, eat your heart out, Devil Wears Prada.
Well, it's interesting because
this walk so Devil Wears Prada could run.
Hearing the storyline reminds me of, I'm like, oh, wonder if Sarno saw this. Antonioni did an early movie called Les Amiches, The Girlfriends, where it's about like a woman who comes back to her hometown and is involved with like a fashion salon, and it's really terrific. It's really good, but that's what this sounds like, but with more melodrama. And Les Amiches is terrific. Criterion put out a really good Blu-ray. So now I'm just like, oh, Sarno. I wonder if Sarno saw that. He might have. I mean, if he was a regular of like art house cinemas in New York, I'm sure that got play. Frequently.
It does seem like a really good dark side of the fashion industry too, because there's that one line, there's that one moment in the trailer where Peggy literally it says to like two other people in the industry that she needs to get rid of Sheila in this. So more than one people seem in on the inner corruption behind this fashion house.
I love that
going on. And just for the sake of greed, let's just quickly get rid of her in the fastest way possible.
I have one friend on Letterboxd who has reviewed it, and he said it was only his second Joe Sarno picture, but he gave it 4.5 stars. His first one was Touch of Genie, which is that's an interesting trajectory. I love both of those, but very, very different eras of Sarno. But he says the story is driven by greed, possessiveness, and jealousy. Like all good NYC movies from that era, a good dose of melancholy swings along with it. An obvious lack of budget shows in the soundstage atmosphere and reliance on a talkative narrative. I was intrigued, though, ... and weirdly moved.
Yeah, it's a Sarno.
So he saw the screening in Germany, because he said I was lucky enough to see a 35 millimeter inner positive of the film, which was found in a German archive. Which I'm like, yes, and it's in English, by the way. This is not a Love Rebellion situation. It's in English. It's the original English version.
Yeah, that could have been what they sent over to Strike the Neck for the German version and stuff. So inner positive, and that's a good that's a
better than Love Rebellion, in my opinion. Yeah,
and that's also a pre-print element. It probably looks good. As well. Didn't run through too many. That's probably the only time it was actually projected.
Well, we need the usual suspects to kind of follow through on this. Though I have now heard that there are a few German archives that have some stuff that are not cooperating with some of our mutual friends in the home video distribution realm. So I don't know if that is the situation with this one, or I don't know if it's the fact that Sarno historically does not sell well.
Yeah, I don't want to say publicly, but I don't think it's the first one. I think this is available. This is available to be utilized.
I think it's a situation where like we need a box set, and this needs to be part of the box set to justify
like your Eclipse.
Or if we get any other, if anyone decides to do one more 60s Sarno release, please pick this one that has not been made available yet, at least, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
And then just throw Love Rebellion on as a bonus because it's German only, with subtitles. Like that would make sense because those are two films and they have German sources, so that would make sense. But
yeah, like the added novelty is that at least it's also a lost film.
Yeah.
Right.
Too.
Right.
So there's also that.
I wish. Yeah. I don't know. We haven't done a Sarno film yet because I'm hoping we can maybe get Michael Bowen on to discuss a film of his choosing or just do an overall survey or whatever. But it's weird how Sarno went through a period of like a renaissance where people were like, oh my God, here's this great guy. He was like the Bergman of 42nd Street, where he was making these movies with beautifully photographed and a lot of characterization. And
there's a documentary about him. And
yes. And then for some reason that does not translate into sales of his films on home video. Specifically, I think the older ones. I think that Retro Seduction did well with like the 60s or the 70s Swedish stuff. I think if it's something like Butterflies or Confessions of an American Housewife or things like that, where it's color and it has familiar hardcore people in it, that's easier to sell than say something in black and white with people that are very niche in terms of name value. But I'm waiting for that cycle to come back around and people to want more of his stuff, because I know people who are kind of like, oh, Sarno stuff is so boring. I'm just like, I hear you lavish praise on Ozu.
It
like,
can also,
if you get into the mood of it, and if you buy into it, it's just like Ozu or Antonioni or any other filmmaker who people say is boring. Like if you get into the mode of it and what he's trying to accomplish, you appreciate it much more. If you go into it thinking, well, this is going to be like a sexy movie, you're not necessarily always going to get that. But if you're going in thinking, I'm going to see some actors who are off Broadway trying to act like the Milligan stuff, and they're trying to make real movies here, I think you'll be pleasantly surprised.
It also kind of depends on like, because some of his films I will devil's advocate and say like, even for me, sometimes they can be a little bit difficult to rewatch, like All the Sins of Sodom, only because that is literally just one room the whole time.
Yes.
Things like Anything for
That's
Money
not one of my favorites.
is pretty busy. It does have quite a bit of momentum to it. Right. And like, so like there are like,
Freedom Vibrations is only in like 3 rooms. It's like in 2 apartments essentially, but it's great because the pacing is good, the acting is good. Like there's narrative thrust there that keeps it interesting.
At the very least, like picking the right Sarnos too. And unfortunately, some of his better ones have not been well represented enough yet. Like Anything for Money. Anything for Money is one of my top.
Right.
For
or
him.
Even like Sin in the Suburbs. Well, that has been put out, but like,
My Body Hungers. Yeah.
That's another.
Well,
that's another good
good release.
Yeah, I know Inga did well in Seduction of Inga, and then I think on the Seduction of Inga there was Indelicate Balance, which was one of the Swedish movies where it only exists in one print that my friend Gary Huggins miraculously found, and that's one of his best movies. And we're lucky that it survives at all, and it survives as an extra on another DVD. Yeah. So it's kind of
exactly. It's like also like the Florida films. Those are sex heavy.
There's only so much you can do with those actors. Like I think Sarno has limitations.
Yeah,
even
but but there still are some that, at the very least, are really, really worthy of some of bringing back to light. If anything,
I think a collection might be the best way to do it. I think if you're releasing it as single titles or double features, I feel like that might be tougher. I feel like if it's a box set, and unfortunately, I feel like you might have to appeal to more mainstream tastes and include more mainstream voices on that to get people to be like, oh, okay.
Or just a much more unlavished packaged one. Just give me a bunch of discs in a little cardboard thing, and that's it.
Like Eclipse, yes. Like I talked to you guys. I think that's something that not just Vinegar Syndrome, any company could do this. I think Criterion did such a smart move when they did the Eclipse series. It was like 3 to 5 films in little slip cases and a cardboard case with no extras, like a trailer and maybe a little essay, and that's it. And the films look gorgeous, and you have them in a collection. I'd much rather have them out at all than the justification, like, well, they won't sell if we just put out a lavish, like, special edition. Yeah, no shit. Just put them out in a collection of 4 to 5. with a trailer and maybe like an essay, and that's fine. Not everything has to be tricked out and super duper.
Yeah, exactly. That's all. We just want to see them. That's it.
Exactly. That's the thing about archiving and everything. Archiving is worthless if there's no access. That's the entire point of archiving. If you're going to archive shit, it needs to be accessible to people who want to access it. Otherwise, what are you doing?
Yeah, and unfortunately, it's not like they're not hard enough to go onto hot movies. Because because some do get put on hot movies that like probably will never see a release, but they get scanned.
Well, like Norma, which I just reviewed, which is like, well, yeah, they knew that was a piece of shit, so they would put it on hot movies instead of putting it on a DVD.
You can still at least get some revenue from that, but like that's only for hardcore stuff. We still have a good outlet for those sexploitation deep cuts.
Well, especially black and white, and see and the crazy thing is when you have something like an inner negative and inner positive or whatever, and it's black and white. Gorgeous. It's going to look stunning. It's going to look Hollywood level.
Yeah, because some of Sarno's films don't translate well to one light prints just because of how shadowy they are, and like you really lose like for people who don't know, like the one problem with one light prints is that they boost in a lot of contrast, so they get really muddy in the shadows and stuff. So it is like Passion Hot Hollows. That's all the print. If that came from a negative, if Passion Hot Hollows was sourced from a negative, it would be incredible. Like you probably know, some sexploitation filmmakers shot theirs pretty flat, partially because of the boost in contrast they would normally get. Sarno's have some of them like Passion Hot Hollows really weren't shot to be with the intention with like the knowledge that like these are not going to look well printed.
Yeah,
things like that.
Yeah, that one's especially dark. For sure.
Yeah,
I love it.
That's what happens. Oh yeah, it is incredible.
All right, so I used my number one for my like female fetish actors.
Right.
Alex used his number one for a plea for the release of a Limbo film.
Right.
Casey is using his number one for.
Okay, my number one is a film that I don't know nearly enough about and nobody knows shit about it, which is very frustrating. So this trailer pops up on one of the Twisted Sex compilations. It is narrated by Roberta Findlay. She did not make it or did not remember making it. It was distributed by her then boyfriend, Alan Shackleton, Monarch Releasing. It's called A New Girl in Town.
This is me, and this is the way I live. And these are my friends.
Maria Vargas is the new girl in town. This is the old story in reverse. She may have been innocent once, but not anymore. And she has the friends to prove it. She travels fast and loose, preying on the city like a cat in heat. The concrete jungle held no terrors for Maria. She and her friends played out their passionate fantasies with an animal ferocity. Maria came to New York knowing what to look for. She had been a 12 o'clock girl in a 9 o'clock town, and that cage could no longer contain her lust. Her wanton body and feverish soul stoked the embers of desire within all her lusting playmates. She tormented, she teased, and drove some to drink.
You stay out of here. Caused enough trouble for one night.
I never imagined a thing like this could happen to me.
It is a Monarch Releasing film. It is credited to a writer-director named Veronica Stone. I don't know who that is. Roberta has said that she did not direct it. But the big thing for you, Gentry, is that this is 4 years later. Jean Weston from Two Girls for a Madman is the star of this film. She stars as Lola Valentine, and I don't know what she was doing in those 4 years, unless she disappears in movies that I haven't been identified yet. But yeah, she's the star of this film. She's the new girl in town. Linda Boyce and Patrick Wright are in this trailer. So this was right before Linda left the business to Tally and ran off when hardcore was coming around.
What year is this?
72. So it's while Roberta was with Alan Shackleton. who they had a very violent breakup. There is not a lot more about this film that is known. Once I heard her voice, I said, oh shit, did she make this? And I asked her, and she said, no, I don't remember making anything called New Girl in Town. And I said, well, Linda Boyce and Patrick Wright? She said, well, yeah, I knew both of them, but I didn't make this. And I said, well, did you narrate the trailer because Alan asked you to? And she said, yeah, I might have, because I was narrating my own trailers. Why wouldn't I narrate another trailer? And I said, but you don't remember anything else about it? She's like, no, I don't know what this is. I don't have a clue. So that's the biggest mystery title. And that why, as I went chronologically, obviously, but this would still be my number one because so little is known about it. This trailer and like one poster is it. That's it. There's one poster that I've seen online, and it basically repeats the same information. Someone finally added it to IMDb, adds no additional information. I haven't checked Variety to see if Variety reviewed it. Yeah, it's a total mystery film from Roberta and Alan. Well, from Alan specifically. Veronica Stone, Roberta wasn't using that pseudonym, and she would typically hide behind male names, except for Anna Riva. So I'd love to know who did it. I'd love to see it because it's Gene Weston acting up a storm after Two Girls for a Madman. Linda Boyce, Patrick Wright having sex, which I love to see. Yeah, I mean, shot obviously not in New York, shot somewhere Jersey or Connecticut or somewhere off site.
It's not the easiest film to search for either with that title.
No.
Because a few have shown up. What happened with the Shackleton catalog? Do you know what happened with the whole catalog, Casey?
Not a clue.
Okay.
Because it kind of splintered. Nobody really, it's all orphaned because he died so early. And
oh, really? Okay.
I don't think, and he was married at the time. I don't think his wife retained ownership. I think he owned a lot of debts. I don't think he owned anything. She might have had to sell them to, pay off his debts when he died. For example, Blue Underground somehow got a hold of Snuff and put that out. Then Retro Seduction put out Abigail Leslie's Back in Town, which was Monarch. Angel on Fire was Monarch, and that was Vinegar Syndrome. So like there isn't a big chain, there's not a substantial chain of title for that entire library.
Oh, or like one lab find that we know of.
No, there isn't.
Okay.
And Butterflies was Monarch as well, and that was a Retro Seduction. So I don't know if those films went back to the producers after, because I feel like Butterfly, that was from a negative, that DVD release, overdue for Blu-ray. Abigail Leslie, did that come out on Blu-ray? I think it did. But yeah, I don't think it's not one of those things where it's like there's a treasure trove of Monarch at a lab somewhere that I know of.
Okay.
Yeah, because he died much younger than expected. I don't think he died that long after Michael, honestly. I don't think he made it into the 80s, if I remember correctly.
No, he didn't. Yeah.
So
it was like 78, 79 or something like that.
Yeah. So it was not so yeah, I mean, at that point, Roberta was with Walter Sear. So, yeah. Monarch is kind of a mystery. And this one has just never turned up. So when this trailer showed up, I was like, why have I never heard of this? And there's no information on the IMDb about it. They're like trying to find anything about New Girl in Town with like Linda Boyce. Obviously, she's there under a pseudonym. Same with Patrick and Gene Weston and Lola Valentine. Those are obviously pseudonyms. So, yeah, there's just no info about this. So this is kind of my ultimate lost 70s sexploitation movie.
Yeah, I haven't seen this trailer either yet. Have you seen it, Alex?
No. There's a few 70s ones. I was like, I'm not going to pick this. So.
Yeah, I haven't seen this.
Move on.
Yeah.
No, I'll go see it. Yeah, I'll go see it. But yeah, I was prioritizing the 60s because I'm just a 60s boy.
Right. Yeah, all my honorable mentions on this list are all 70s except for 3.
All right, let's all do one honorable mention before we go.
Just one? Okay.
We're getting deep in here. I'm just going to throw out kind of an obvious one, which is, speaking of Roberta, Body of a Female.
Yes.
What's awful is that a trailer exists on tape. John O'Mara has it.
Yes.
Right.
You had mentioned that too.
Which means we'll never see it.
However, a lot of it was repurposed for the lusting hours.
Yes.
Oh, that's true.
10 or 15 minutes, like a lot of it's in there.
Yeah, when she's out at the lake, right? That lake's kind of when she's at the
reservoir scene. The titular woman on the spreader bar who gets whipped in the campaign, who's all over the campaign. That titular scene is fully in there. Some of the camera club stuff is there. Some other bondage and fetishistic sequences are in it. You can kind of tell what's Lusting Hours because it looks like they just had a print that had been through a couple projectors. It looks the dupiest out of all the footage in Lusting Hours. And also, the titular sex scene with Michael and Roberta is in it too.
That's right.
There's quite a bit of Lusting Hours. Oh, yeah. Body of a female in Lusting Hours. We're very lucky that as much of that was repurposed.
Sure. It's very Madame Olga's massage parlor.
Yeah, but even more so. Mondo Center did not have
there's more. Yeah, there's more in Lusting Hours. That's true.
Well, give us an honorable mention, Alex.
Crap, I had 5. I had 5.
You want to get one?
Yeah. Okay, that's absolutely going to have to be Satan's Mistress.
Okay.
Damn, because I was hoping you picked Vixens.
No, because Body of a Female was one of my 5. So thank you, Gentry. You did cover it. So you do have me covered there, but absolutely no. Satan's Mistress next to like Ruined is my ultimate Mytam Ruffy Nasty.
Ruined is my Mytam.
Because this one is a pretty grim one for this is like a really mean Ruffy. Because this is about a man who, and thankfully I have so many great photos for this. I've shown you guys some. A man who, kind of a playboy, who goes out on a night on the town with this gal he's had 1 or 2 dates with before. And she rejects his advances when they get back to her place. So he tries to assault her. But thankfully, her roommate comes in and throws acid on his face. So now he's acid scarred, and he goes back to live on his ranch. And he has this woman there who's a helper and stuff who. I don't know what their relationship is like, but he eventually, I believe, strangles her to death. And then, because he's been slowly going crazy, then decides to get revenge on the 2 women who disfigured him. Oh yeah, there it is. There he is strangling her. Decides to hunt down the 2 women who did this to him. He chases down one of them and literally lodges an axe in her head. You can see the it's sticking out there.
This is early gore kid Alex was loving this.
Yeah. And then he kidnaps the other one, takes it back to his ranch, and does all these horrible things to her, like whipping her outside, all these crazy things. She tries to escape, and then he hunts her down and beats her to death. So then
this is the Ruffy that we need to see.
This is the ultimate Ruffy next to Ruin. It's real Ruffy. So then the noise arouses a neighbor who calls the police. He's captured and arrested. After a brief interrogation, he returns to the ranch and shows him where he buried the one girl. And then he breaks loose from them, and it shows at least a shot of him like hiding around a barn, aiming a gun at someone. So I think he might have been trying to evade the cops in this movie, but of course, because it's a Mytam film, the cops, of course, and everything, and bring it close. And bring it close to the movie.
Share locations with House of Cats and Tortured Females.
Well, also the lead guy in this, I recognize him also in his name. He's credited as being named Jerry Harris, I believe, and he was also in House of Cats. I recognize him. Yeah, I recognize him, and I think he might be in the torture shed in House of Cats. I'd have to go back to some of my shots, but I think he's in the torture shed.
We need these Mytam film because they all seem like they're like talking to each other in a way.
Yeah,
yeah, kind of. And I don't know where this credit comes from because it's not in AFI, and the Mytam press books don't have. They don't have really credits
name people
in them. Yeah, no, like this is it. These are normally what they are. But it's credited to a T.G. Zorfa.
Yeah, that sounds so made up.
seem
wildly
to have,
fake. Right?
yeah, it doesn't seem to have done anything else
unless
either.
it's a really good anagram for the person's last name, and then we can figure it out that way. But
yeah, exactly. And fine enough, Mistress was one of fine, and it's only 66 minutes, and sounds like a pretty busy 66 minutes. And
fun.
This is one where, oddly enough, the word mistress had to be censored out in a few ads in different places.
But
It's called
not Satan?
Satan's Den. It was Satan's Den in one or two territories and things like that in the newspaper ads and stuff. And this like, Casey, was your one shortlist going to be ruined?
Yes, it was. Yeah.
Okay, then I'll let you keep speaking.
No, it's not. No, it's not going to be ruined.
Oh, it's not.
No.
Oh, okay. Because
No.
again, my tam looks like they were really. They just like. But a lot of my tams don't look interesting. I will say that. Quite a few just do not look good. Because they kind of had like four different genres of like prevalent popular topics. Ruffies, the suburbanites, the office people, and like maybe something else. So, and whenever they do one, they really deliver on it. So when they do Ruffies, they really seem to deliver in the Ruffies. Like Satan's Mistress, like Rude, like House of Cats. But like with the suburban ones, they're really delivering in people having sex in a suburban house.
And rolling around with underwear on.
Like they really give they really give what they're promising. Like they really deliver on it. But some of the topics don't really lend themselves well to anything interesting, as we've seen with like Private Arrangement and stuff like that. But when they go full nasty, like Ruined is a home invasion film about like fugitives on the loose who come across this old rancher and his like young daughters, and it is shot in this really decrepit old shack of a house, which really lends itself well to the film and stuff. So like when they do Ruffies, they do Ruffies. So like there's a handful that I would absolutely die to see, but like also quite a few that I'm just like, I'm okay.
I don't need to see all of them. None of them. I mean, I didn't have any My Tams on my actual list, and it was pretty easy to remove them from my short list too, just because we don't have enough evidence that Tortured Females was a fluke.
Yeah,
we have a lot of really good shots and one or two trailers, and everything else, like they could be really horrible, and we just don't know.
Yeah. Well, a lot of them are mostly MOS with a little bit of sync sound narration. Like the way that my Tams kind of like made themselves to be like kind of perfect, reliable product in a way. Almost all their films are only 60 minutes, so they make for a good 2-hour program. The one sheet's already covered with nudity, so you can censor them if you want. And it's mostly, and they're all shot in 35mm color and can at least not color. They eventually went color, but at least all shot sharply in 35 and can advertise that they at least have some sync sound to them. Which later on, when things were getting busy, some people were like, it's not even in sync. You have blah 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 MOS and stuff. So at the very least, most My Tams are just like sitting down, interviewing someone. And then we flash back to all these sordid events that lead up to why they're being interviewed. And the interview sequence is the one scene that's actually sync sound. That's most My Tams. That's what Private Arrangement is. Why am I talking to you now? We were swingers on a boat and all this stuff happened. It's mostly MOS for the most part. Like
that's why I'm not as interested in them as
they look like mostly weekend. Well, I'm not interested in all of them. Just the Ruffies. Just the Ruffies. I'm curious to know about Wesley Depew and things. Like, I really want to know a lot more about them and their place in sexploitation. But I'm going to be brutally... I'm obsessed with their history. Like, I don't want to see most Michigan films. I'm just obsessed with his history. Like, I don't want to see most of his stuff. I want to see most of Brenner's stuff. I'm not going to lie.
Oh, I do. He imported a lot of good stuff.
Besides Seducers and Body of a Female, I'm not going to lie, I'm pretty okay. With quite a few things. He just fascinates me. He just interests me. My Tams just another that does interest me. There's quite a few that are around that I Love My Way exists, but I don't. Besides seeing Capri,
I don't need to see that.
House of Cats I'd like to see. That does exist, but like there's a few of them. Like I'm fine.
What I like about the My Tams is like there does look like there's a consistency to like how they're presented. Like the one sheets have a similar look.
Yeah.
And so it's like, oh man, I mean, it seems like the movies are all some of them are very similar, but it's like, yeah, that's kind of what they were going for.
Yeah, they're noble for being like having the science down. That's why I like to call My 10 Films perfect product.
Yeah,
in a way, like they seem like very, very reliable things, like titles to book. If your theater wasn't doing too well, call up Mary Turner. I need a suburban film. I need something harder. I need something harder, or something like that. Verini only once mentioned that they might have been weekend wonders, and they look quite a bit like it.
They look like weekend wonders.
Yeah, but there is some intrigue to them. Like quite a few of them look like they were shot. Like there's a My Tam house. I've noticed there a lot of them are shot in one particular house. Later on, almost like Capri was practically on speed dial.
Yeah,
for a lot of them. There's a bit of a story there that I want to know at the very least. Like there's a story there that I really do want to know. But again, they're covered so much in like the magazines and stuff. I feel like I've seen enough of some of these movies.
You feel like you've seen them,
like some of them
without seeing them.
Yeah, pretty much. Honestly, pretty much. Like they do have some great sexploitation stars in some of them. Pat Barrington comes in for a dance scene, and the housewives and bartenders.
Marsha Jordan's in a few of them,
and Marsha Jordan is talking in one of them and stuff too. But like, other than that,
all right, that's enough. My Tam.
Yeah, I've spoken enough.
Casey, give us your honorable mention.
My honorable mention is Corporate Queen. The John
Good pick. Good pick.
With it stars Uta Erickson, credited as Renee Claire. It has Ron, what's his face? Yeah, Marie Brent, aka Janet Banzett, is second build. 82 minutes, kind of long, and also has some homosexual shit in it. Based on the, and actually, there's this ad mat where. What's his face is talking to somebody. Ron Scudera, that's who I'm thinking of. He's credited as Tony Vito. Released by Victoria Films Inc. Not a clue.
I know. That was owned by owner of Times Film as well. Wait, who owned the World Theater?
Oh, really?
Before? Yeah, that was him. Who owned the World Theater back in the 60s?
Oh, I don't remember.
Crap, his name is on the tip of my tongue.
Oh, well, actually, on the back, Times Film Corporation. Yeah, Times Film Corporation. Gene Goldworm, president.
Yes, John Goldworm. Yes. John Goldworm.
Milt Platt, vice president in charge of sales.
Yes.
They're
Okay.
144 West 57th Street. So you're not going to believe this. Work.
John Goldworm.
So my office is down the street from where Times Film Corporation was.
Do you really want that information on the podcast, Casey?
You bleep out. You can bleep out the building number, but West 57th Street is fine.
All right.
So John,
editing note, but I'm dying to see this. I mean, and I know that John Romero is dying to see it. Obviously, it's something that he is really proud of.
He made it. He doesn't know where it is.
Yeah, John
doesn't know anything about
it. No, because he should be. So
because Victory Films ended up owning it, and what actually is funny, what happened is when he came. I'm just trying such a blank because I'm trying to find something else. What's the Every Inch of a Lady. Okay, so
Every Inch of a Lady is a remake.
Every Inch of a Lady happened, and funny enough, Jean of Victoria Films sent him a letter and said, I own Corporate Queen, and you just ripped it off pretty much."
Right.
And so then, and because it's in the District's archives, this letter, it's in the archives. I've seen a photo of it, and pretty much John was like, because John kind of bowed out because he didn't want to go into hardcore, and he wasn't remotely, he did not remotely want to be affiliated.
Was mostly in charge
with hardcore,
hardcore stuff, yeah.
So John was pretty much like, okay, come after me. You don't want to be known for hardcore anyway, make this public. In a way. So Jean kind of backed out. Oh, Felix Bilgry was John Goldworm's right-hand man, who was his go-to lawyer. They fought quite a few court battles. They are notable for having a strong hand in taking down the Maryland and Chicago censor boards.
Oh, that's interesting.
They helped set some really good legal precedents by pretty much purposefully playing films without having a license, and then making an absolute laughing stock of the censor board. Yeah, they're really more so notable because they mostly Yeah, they're most so notable for, again, having the world theater. They mostly imported films. They were responsible for first having Mondo Cane.
Right, because I know them mostly as an import. I don't know them as so, they didn't really produce soft sexploitation stuff.
No, not really. Not really. There's a few. There's another one called The Taming that they did also release, but they mostly did like sexy art housey type stuff. But no, they did actually have a very, like, legally, they're quite important into the takedown of censorship in certain areas. Yeah, Felix Bilgri, his whole law career was with Jean, funny enough.
Okay.
Yeah, so they were big defenders of free speech at this time. That's what they're more so known for.
And yet,
in the history
we don't have a film print of Corporate Queen.
Well, we don't have a film print of... I've asked one or two people. They don't know what happened to the Times of Victoria film catalogs. No. One of them was more so... I think it was maybe Times. One of them was more so for their sexploitation output. I forget which one it was. I'd have to go back into my notes.
I don't know.
But yeah, no, they are somewhat they are notable, but like they're very obscure as well. There are people that only insiders really know about.
Did you say this is softcore, Casey?
Yeah, softcore.
That we know of, yeah.
Yeah.
Another one with Janet Banzett.
Yes, Marie Brent.
Added to the list.
Third build. I want to see it for Uta Erickson.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't care who else is in it.
And since it was made by the Ameros, I can't imagine that the 89 minutes is overly wasted.
I don't know. Lusting Hours was rough. Diary of a Swimmer.
I don't know. I like Lusting Hours enough.
I'm not the biggest Amero Brothers apologist. I don't think that their stuff is as nice and tight as a lot of other filmmakers of that era. They were known to be indulgent, I think. Yeah.
I'm not against some of the things.
Every Lady is way too long.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm not against compared to other sexploitation, the other filmmakers who just have like the most crappy unlit flesh. I haven't been the most offended at some of the things that they do indulge in compared to others.
Sure.
I mean,
it's like I'm kind of half and half on that.
Yeah, but that's it. That's my
last thoughts on this journey we've been on.
No.
I'm glad we finally did start talking about more lost films. I'm most obsessed with lost films, actually. I love talking about lost films more than existing films.
Because the mystery of it,
existing films, because then we can actually cite shit that actually we know happens in the movies.
Yeah. No, well, like we see with like Alex, all your press books and KCZ, like we do know quite a bit about a lot of lost films based on the press materials.
But then there are always going to be ones where the press book gives you no info. There's no newspaper articles. There's no other reporting anywhere. The trailer doesn't list anybody. The poster doesn't list anybody. So yeah, there's always going to be films where you don't know anything about it. So it's just kind of like we know the bare minimum of this.
Don't miss this frank, bold adult film.
Thank you for listening. To hear more shows from the Someone's Favorite Productions podcast network, please select the link in the description.
Hey, this is Jason Kleberg from the Force 5 podcast, a show that forces a guest to come up with a movie-themed top 5 list topic, and then we reveal our picks on air. Top 5 heist films, top 5 tearjerkers, top 5 movie dogs. Every show you'll be asking yourself, what would be on my list? Guests include directors, screenwriters, actors, podcasters, musicians, authors, and even a professional wrestler. Subscribe to the Force 5 podcast, and you won't just be a listener, you'll be a list nerd. The Force 5 podcast, available wherever you're listening now.